Chapter 940. The Darkness Descended. It was a great harvest. Wang Xian did not expect the Bridge Forest Business Association to be so wealthy. These spirit stones and resources were merely the interspatial rings of the Transcendent Level 8 and the other experts from the Bridge Forest Business Association. For a family like theirs, they would definitely have a treasure vault that was specially used to store treasures. The items in the treasure vault should not be less than those in the interspatial rings. For a family to be able to accumulate so much wealth, the power of the Bridgewood Chamber of Commerce was not simple. Even if it was placed in the city, it was still a pretty good family. What is this thing? The Dragon Assassin Organization? This assassin organization seems to be somewhat familiar. I remember this piece of paper. This is the Dragon Assassin Organization of Holy See Town. I heard that the Dragon Assassin Organization announced not long ago that they would enter Bridgewood Town. At that time, I didn't pay too much attention to it. I didn't expect that the Dragon Assassin Organization would really come. The roar from the Lin family mansion. Could it be an assassination by the Dragon Assassin Organization? A wild roar in the middle of the night made everyone look shocked. Not long after, they suddenly found a red piece of paper in their home. On the paper was the contact information of the Dragon Assassin Organization. This made everyone look shocked. Many people didn't know about the Dragon Assassin Organization, but some people who were well-informed knew about it. The Dragon Assassin Organization originated from St. C Town. Their appearance intimidated all the powerhouses in St. C Town. Even a Transcendent Level 6 powerhouse couldn't escape the Dragon Assassin's assassination. A few days ago, the Dragon Assassin Organization sent a message to all the customers that they would enter Bridge Forest Town. If the assassination at the Lin family mansion is really the Dragon Assassin Organization, then it's too terrifying. In the center of the town, in a luxurious living room, a middle-aged man said with a face full of surprise, "What's so terrifying? If the assassins in the Lin family mansion are really from the Dragon Assassin Organization, then they are only SOSO. Can't you see that they have already been discovered by the Lin family? The old master of the Lin family has the strength of a Transcendent Level 8. He is not an ordinary assassin organization that can assassinate him. That's right. I think this dragon spike can only assassinate a rank 6 Transcendent at most. It is only SOSO after entering the Lin family." The other two middle-aged men in the hall shook their heads and said, "That's true. The strength of the Lin family is too strong. It is not something that a small assassin organization can assassinate. Even if it is an undercurrent, only the top-notch assassins can assassinate the Lin family." The middle-aged man who had just exclaimed slowly nodded his head. Some of the powerful families and mercenary groups in Lin Hightown had all received the red piece of paper with the dragon spike. After seeing it, they began to discuss among themselves. The next morning, Qiao Lin Town was obviously much livelier than usual. The sky had just brightened when the center of the town became lively. Look at the gate of the Lin family mansion, that huge red piece of paper. Hiss, it's the dragon spike. The Dragon Assassin Organization of Holy See Town has set their target on the Lin family. Could it be that the Dragon Assassin Organization really went to the Lin family to carry out an assassination last night? I have to say this dragon spike is really awesome. It immediately assassinated a powerhouse of the Lin family. But it seems like he didn't succeed. He was discovered. In the early morning, many people came to the Lin family to understand the situation. When they saw the congratulatory death note on the door, everyone had shocked expressions on their faces. The crowd started to discuss. Wang Xian also got up early. He found someone to ask about a shop and followed him to a small shop in a remote area. "Young man, do you want to buy funerary items?" The person who was doing business was an old lady. She was very thin and frail. When she saw Wang Xian coming in, she asked with a smile on her face, "Yes, the enemy is dead. Send some funerary items to celebrate." Oh, right, old lady. Bring more funerary items that you want to make. Also, can you write some words on it? Wang Xian said to the old lady with a smile on his face. The old lady was slightly taken aback. She nodded and said, Yes, I can write anything. There are some good ones in the shop. You can choose from them. This, this. I want all of them. If you want to write some words, it means congratulations to old Master Lin of the Lin family for going to hell. The president of the Qiaolin Commercial Association is going to hell. Wang Xian said with a smile. Qiaolin, the president of the Qiaolin Business Association, is dead. The old lady was slightly shocked. Her arms were trembling as she asked. Yes, he's dead. He was assassinated. Wang Xian looked at the old lady and nodded his head. He died well. He died well. I knew it. Selling the grain at such a high price will bring about retribution. He died well. He really died well. The old lady said excitedly. She took out the black ink and said with a red face. Wang Xian was slightly stunned. He looked at the shabby house. There was a small bed, a shabby table, and a piece of leftover hard steamed bun on the table. Looks like the Lin family deserves to die. Wang Xian said plainly. Damn it, damn it. They monopolize the food in Qiaolin town. It's twice as expensive as the food sold in other towns. I'll give you the blood-steamed bun that they sell. Young man, I'll give you the burial items. There's no need for money, no need for money. The old lady said with a smile. Wang Xian looked at the frail old lady. Her handwriting was very beautiful. He placed them into his interspatial ring one by one. Go, young man. Give it to them. Hee. The old lady waved her hand at Wang Xian with a smile. Wang Xian nodded his head and moved his palm slightly. The heavens have really opened their eyes. Good death, good death. The old lady said with tears in her eyes. She turned her head around happily. Suddenly, she was stunned and looked at the spiritual stones on the table in astonishment. A pile of spiritual stones. Although they were only low-grade spiritual stones, there were at least hundreds of thousands of them. Such a good person, such a good person. The old lady hurriedly walked out of the room and realized that Wang Xian had already disappeared. Hundreds of thousands of low-grade spiritual stones are enough to survive for the rest of my life. Wang Xian smiled and slowly walked towards the Lin family's residence. When he arrived, he realized that there were many people gathered on the streets. Everyone was paying attention to the Lin family's matters. The roar last night shocked many people. Coupled with the incident with the Dragon Assassin organization, everyone was filled with doubts. Scram, scram, scram. Don't block the entrance of the Lin family's residence. Are you courting death? At this moment, a few guards from the Lin family's mansion opened the door. When they saw the crowd around them, they shouted sternly with pale faces. The people around them quickly left. After all, this was the Lin family's mansion. The Lin family was not someone they could afford to offend. Who put the red paper on our door? Damn it! When the few guards saw the red paper on the door, their faces turned gloomy as they roared. That's the dragon spike. Congratulations on your death. At this moment, Wang Xian's voice rang out. He walked over with a smile on his face. Following that, under the shocked gazes of everyone around him, he placed the funerary items in his interspatial ring on the wall of the Lin family. Wreaths, wreaths. On the funerary items and wreaths, there were even messages written on them. Congratulates Lin Jia, Lin, old to go to hell. Congratulates Bridgewood Chamber of Commerce President to go to hell. Chapter 941 was not the dragon that crossed the river. This, everyone was stunned. Funeral goods. Wreaths. They were placed right next to the main gate of the Lin family mansion, and there were even names written on them. It was the same as the funeral goods that were usually given to family and friends when someone died. However, this was not what was shocking. What was shocking was the names on the wreaths. Elder Lin of the Lin family naturally referred to the strongest person in the Lin family, a terrifying existence at transcendent level, rank 8. The president of the Bridge Forest Business Association was naturally the current head of the Lin family, an expert at level 6 of the supernatural realm. Could it be that all the pillars of the Lin family had died? This made everyone feel a little incredulous. How was this possible? However, when they recalled the furious roar last night, everyone revealed a hint of surprise and doubt on their faces. Could it be that Elder Lin of the Lin family was really dead? Was the president of the Bridge Forest Business Association really dead? Everyone turned to look at the few guards of the Lin family. When the few guards saw the wreaths placed by Wang Xian, their expressions changed drastically. Especially when they saw the words on the wreaths, their expressions turned gloomy instantly. "Kid, are you fucking courting death?" A middle-aged guard roared and walked towards Wang Xian with a face full of anger. His body was exuding a terrifying, murderous aura. What's wrong? Could it be that I gave you the wrong gift? Could it be that the pillar of the Lin family, the president of the Bridge Forest Business Association, is still alive? Wang Xian turned his head with a smile and stared at the middle-aged man who was walking towards him with a mocking expression. How did you know? When the middle-aged man heard Wang Xian's words, his expression changed drastically. He stared at Wang Xian coldly. What's going on? What the hell are all of you gathered here for? Get lost. At this moment, an angry roar came from the entrance again. Everyone was shocked and quickly looked towards the entrance of the Lin family mansion. It's Lin Feng, the son of the president of the Bridge Forest Business Association and the future successor of the Bridge Forest Business Association. Look at Lin Feng's red eyes. That young man might be real. Hiss! How did that young man know that the pillar of the Lin family and the president of the Bridge Forest Business Association had died? Everyone around subconsciously took a few steps back and whispered when they saw Lin Feng. Lin Feng's blood-red eyes swept across the surroundings. When he saw the funeral wreath beside him, he was instantly enraged. Who did this? A roar came from his mouth. I gave it to you. How is it? Aren't you very loyal? When Wang Xian saw Lin Feng's expression, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly as he walked towards him slowly. Everyone looked at Wang Xian in shock as he walked over. He actually dared to directly provoke the future heir of the Lin family. It's you! When Lin Feng saw Wang Xian, his eyes revealed endless coldness. It's me! Wang Xian walked up to the young man and said with a smile, You hired the assassin of the dragon spike. Lin Feng suddenly glared at him and roared. His face was extremely ferocious, as though he was a devil that was devouring people. Haha! Ever since the Celestial Phoenix mercenary group was established, we have destroyed the Mirage Sea mercenary group and the Saber Scar mercenary group. No one has dared to take our commission. You guys are the first. In that case, you will have to bear our revenge. Wang Xian laughed out loud and stared at Lin Feng with a smile. Today is just the beginning. It's really you. Lin Feng clenched his fists tightly and was about to attack Wang Xian. However, the guards at the side quickly stopped him. A look of shock flashed across their eyes. This is the price you have to pay for taking 1 million middle-grade spirit stones. Wang Xian smiled and turned around to leave. I'm going to kill you. If my Lin family doesn't kill you, I swear I won't be a human. Lin Feng roared furiously. Wang Xian smiled faintly and walked into the restaurant slowly. Everyone around was shocked. They looked at the scene in front of them in disbelief. It's really the dragon sting. Oh my God, the strongest person in the Lin family, the president of the Bridge Forest Business Association, has been assassinated. Oh my God, who is that young man? How dare he fight the Lin family directly? And what he said, there's an inexplicable domineering air about him. The badge on his chest is the president of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group. He's the leader of a 2-star gold mercenary group. I don't know about the Mirage C mercenary group, but I do know about the Saber Scar mercenary group. The Saber Scar mercenary group is the most powerful mercenary group in Holy See Town. The leader of the Saber Scar group is at Transcendent 7th rank. I didn't expect that they would destroy the Saber Scar mercenary group. Oh my god. This time, the Lin family has met a tough nut to crack. The Lin family must have taken advantage of their own power to take the commission of 1 million middle-grade spirit stones from the other party. In the end, the other party directly hired a dragon assassin to take revenge. FUCK, this is too awesome. Hiring an assassin to assassinate an expert of the 8th rank of the extraordinary realm. This must cost at least hundreds of millions of middle-grade spirit stones, right? I think the most terrifying thing is still the Dragon Assassin Organization. FUCK, even an expert of the 8th rank of the extraordinary realm can be assassinated directly. They are really powerful. The Dragon Assassin Organization has made everyone in Holy See Town jittery. A few days ago, they announced that they had entered our bridge forest town. They did not cause such a terrifying commotion the moment they arrived. A level 8 transcendent. There are a total of 3 level 8 transcendent experts in our bridge forest town. There is nothing that the Dragon Assassin Organization can't assassinate. This Immortal Phoenix mercenary group is not that simple. To be able to spend such a huge price to hire the Dragon Assassin Organization and destroy the Sword Scar mercenary group. Their strength is also terrifying. If it wasn't for the dragon spike, the Lin family would probably have encountered the greatest crisis in history. Everyone in the surroundings widened their eyes in disgust. This time it was really a big matter. 2 dragons that crossed the river descended directly from Holy See Town to Bridgewood Town. One of the most powerful mercenary groups in Holy See Town, the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group. One of the most terrifying assassin groups in Holy See Town, the Dragon Spike Assassin Group. 2 dragons crossing the river, not one to be trifled with. Because the Bridgewood Business Association took the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group for 1 million middle grade, the other party directly hired the Dragon Spike to assassinate the strongest person in the Lin family. The young leader of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group directly sent him to the garden to congratulate him. One was more ruthless than the other, and the other was more ferocious than the other. A fierce dragon crossing the river. Damn it, damn it! Lin Feng clenched his fists tightly, and his body began to tremble violently when he heard the discussions around him. His fingernails entered his flesh, and streams of blood flowed out. Even his gums were bitten until they were bleeding. He had never thought that this would happen just because he didn't give them 1 million middle-grade spirit stones yesterday. His father, his great-grandfather, and the other experts of the Lin family weren't the only ones who died. 70% of the experts had been killed. Now, only 2 transcendent level rank 7 experts remained. But seeing the other party's intentions, he did not intend to let go. In fact, he might even be assassinated. At the thought of this, their faces revealed terrified expressions. Why did they provoke such a demon? No, we can't just sit here and wait for death. No, absolutely not. Chapter 942. Hands Covering the Sky 1. Lin Feng shook his head with a face full of fear and walked towards the Lin family mansion in a daze. He wanted to report this matter to the 2 remaining experts in the family. If this matter was not resolved, then the Lin family would not have the strength to resist the following assassination. In fact, all of them might even die. Time slowly passed. In the morning, the news of the assassination of the Lin family's old master, the strongest expert of the Lin family, spread throughout the entire bridge forest town. When everyone received the news, their eyes widened and their faces revealed shock. However, not long after, an even more shocking news spread. The Lin family's old master was not the only one who died. The president of the Bridge Forest Business Association was also killed. 5 transcendents at level 6 were assassinated, and 13 transcendents at level 5 were also killed by Dragon Spike. Everyone's faces were filled with shock. FUCK, so many experts had died. More than half of the Lin family's forces had been killed. Now, only 2 level 7 transcendents were guarding the Lin family. So many experts had died in the Lin family, causing everyone to be shocked by the terror of the Dragon Spike assassin organization. This made many people recall the contact information they had obtained last night. When they had obtained the contact information of the Dragon Assassin organization, they had not taken it to heart. Now, it seemed that the Dragon Assassin organization was simply a great killing tool. In Bridge Forest Town, there was no character that they could not assassinate. Even the mayor could be assassinated. This made many people moved. It was not that there was no assassin organization in Bridge Forest Town. The Undercurrent Assassin organization covered the entire Star Moon Kingdom. However, the assassins of the Undercurrent might not necessarily accept missions to assassinate level 8 transcendents. The Undercurrent did not have so many top-notch experts to accept such missions. The failure rate of assassinating a level 8 transcendent was already very high. If they failed, the assassin organization would at most return half of the commission. However, if they failed too many times, then no one would hire assassins from the Undercurrent in the future. The reputation of the Undercurrent would also suffer a huge blow. At that time, no one would hire assassins from the Undercurrent, and the Undercurrent would gradually decline. Therefore, the Undercurrent Assassin organization was also very cautious when choosing missions. Big families like the Lin family of Chilean Town had a protective array. They did not dare to accept such missions because they were afraid that the mission would fail and destroy their reputation. However, the Dragon Spike dared to accept it and even succeeded in assassinating them. This made many people's hearts move. If they hired the Dragon Spike to kill their enemies. The Lin family has always been tyrannical. Now that the old master of the Lin family has been killed, the Lin family only has 2 transcendent 7th rank experts. We might as well hire the Dragon Spike to kill them. FUCK, let's assassinate one first. Chilean Town, the Lin family has many enemies. There are definitely many people who won't let go of this opportunity. Besides us, there are at least 1 or 2 other families who won't be able to resist taking action. Haha, the Lin family is finished this time. I didn't expect that Immortal Phoenix mercenary group from Holy Sea Town to be such a ruthless person. They spent at least hundreds of millions of middle-grade spirit stones. TSK, they're really rich. In a luxurious courtyard, 5 or 6 people were sitting in a room and chatting in a low voice. Their eyes revealed an excited look. It wasn't just here. In Xiaolin Town, in many places, some mercenary groups and some families were preparing to make a move against the Lin family. The Lin family was in Xiaolin Town. They relied on their relationship with the mayor to act tyrannically and provoked many enemies. However, having such an opportunity made many people extremely excited. They quickly contacted the Dragon Assassin organization to assassinate the members of the Lin family. Dragon King. After eating some food in the restaurant, Wang Xian returned to his room. Long immediately walked over. You have a mission. Wang Xian asked with a smile. Dragon King, things have really gone beyond our expectations. Long handed the mission to Wang Xian and said in surprise, Oh, what's wrong? Wang Xian took over the mission list one by one and revealed a look of surprise. There are actually 10 missions to assassinate the Lin family. Even a young master of the Lin family, who is at level 1 extraordinary, is willing to pay 5 times the commission to assassinate him. TSK. Wang Xian looked at the mission list in shock. That's right. 2 level 7 extraordinaire experts of the Lin family are also on the mission list. The people of Qiaolin town are really crazy, Long Yi said in shock. In Shanghai town, no one issued any missions to assassinate a level 7 extraordinaire. In the end, there were 2 missions to assassinate a level 7 extraordinaire in Qiaolin town. It was a little crazy. One had to know that the reward for assassinating a level 7 supernatural being was extremely terrifying. It's not that they are crazy. It's just that the Lin family has provoked too many people. Many people wish for them to die. Wang Xian mumbled to himself. Thinking of the old lady who sold funerary goods, he sighed slightly. His eyes sparkled. After hesitating for a moment, he said, Long Yi activate rewards for good and punishment for evil. In the future, the Dragon Assassin organization will activate the crowdfunding mode to assassinate the most vicious and evil people. After the target has been investigated by the Dragon Assassin, they will assassinate them at half price. Activate rewards for good and punishment for evil. The Dragon Assassin organization would not assassinate those who were extremely good. The leader of the Dragon Assassin organization would assassinate those who were extremely vicious. Crowdfunding assassinations would be assassinated at half price. If the other party was an extremely evil person with a higher cultivation level, everyone would be able to raise crowdfunding and assassinate him at half price. This would be another rule of the Dragon Assassin organization. It was also one of Wang Xian's original intentions. The Dragon Assassin organization was not a good organization. They killed people. However, the Dragon Assassin organization would mainly kill evil people. They would not kill the good people. It was directed at their original intentions. Long Xian was stunned for a moment before he nodded immediately. It's the Dragon King. We will pass this news to all the customers immediately. Okay. Wang Xian nodded his head. After this rule was activated, it might reduce the income of the Dragon Assassin organization. However, he felt very comfortable doing so. Master Lin, you must protect our Lin family. You must restrain that lawless organization of the Dragon Spike. At this moment, the remaining 2 extraordinary level 7 experts of the Lin family and the core members of the Lin family were standing in front of an old man with a horrified expression. The old man had a frail figure, and a sinister look flashed across his eyes from time to time. He sat in the middle and stared at the members of the Lin family. He frowned slightly. This Dragon Spike actually assassinated Brother Lin. The old man gently knocked on the table, his eyes shining. Lord Lin, it's the Dragon Assassin hired by the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group. Our Lin family can't not take revenge. We want to kill that kid first. The 2 old men standing at the front had ferocious expressions, and they gritted their teeth. Lord Lin, if our Lin family can get through this, we are willing to follow you in the future. Oh! The elder suddenly stood up as a glint flashed across his eyes. Following him meant that his Lin family would become his people, not to mention the Lin family's resources and heritage. Just these 2 remaining experts of the Lin family were enough to tempt him. All right, an assassin organization wouldn't dare to assassinate an official of the kingdom. With me around, an assassin organization wouldn't dare to be impudent. Chapter 943. Hands covering the sky too. Sir, please capture all the members of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group. We want to avenge our father. The 2 middle-aged men said to the old man again with bloodshot eyes. This time their Lin family was forced into a desperate situation. Their Lin family never expected that a disaster would suddenly fall from the sky. A 2-star gold mercenary group, the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group. A Dragon Assassin group. It directly overturned the Lin family's centuries-old foundation. Their Lin family's pillar was assassinated, and 70 to 80% of their experts were assassinated. When they heard Lin Feng's report in the morning, they knew that their Lin family's disaster had arrived. They knew how many enemies they had in Qiaolin town, and they knew that many people wanted nothing more than to destroy their Lin family. However, all along, no one dared to make a move against the Lin family's formidable strength. This time, they would definitely not let go of this good opportunity. Even if they did not hire the dragon assassin, they would suffer a tragic blow in the future. Thus, they could only go all out and submit to a powerhouse. The mayor, Lin Xiao, was the best choice. Lin Xiao was the person with the greatest influence in the entire Qiaolin town. Lin Xiao had the entire Star Moon kingdom backing him. He was a minister of a region, and no one dared to provoke him. The assassin organization did not dare to make an enemy of the entire kingdom. The biggest assassin organization in Star Moon Kingdom had a rule that they would not accept missions from Star Moon Kingdom's officials. Under normal circumstances, small assassin organizations would not dare to offend a powerful kingdom empire. This was because if the empire were to take revenge seriously, the assassin organization would also suffer heavy losses. The assassin organization pursued profit. Profit was paramount. If it did not suit their interests, they would not do it. All right. Lin Xiao nodded with a smile on his face. Don't worry. They dared to assassinate Brother Lin. I will help you take revenge. All of you go home and make preparations. In the afternoon, I will bring people to bring all the members of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group over. They will commit suicide and sacrifice Brother Lin's soul in heaven. Lin Xiao's face was full of confidence. Thank you, Lord Lin. The members of the Lin family said respectfully and immediately walked towards the Lin family mansion. They walked out of the mayor's mansion with a solemn face. After today, even if they could take revenge, their Lin family would decline. In the future, there would be no Lin family of the Bridge Forest Business Association. Only the mayor's mansion, the Lin family. Hee, the heavens are really helping me. In the mayor's mansion, Lin Xiao looked at their figures and revealed an excited expression. Congratulations, sir. In the future, there will be 2 extraordinary 7th-level experts of the Lin family and the Lin family's property. The prestige of our mayor's mansion will cover the entire Qiaolin town. An elder at the side said flatteringly, Haha, this dragon assassin organization appeared at the right time. I really want to thank them properly. Lin Xiao burst into laughter. Go and check the location of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group. Catch them all before night and bring them to the Lin family's mansion. Yes, sir. In Qiaolin town, it was forbidden to arrest people without any evidence. But Lin Xiao did not care. He had always been the one in charge of Qiaolin town. So what if he killed a gold-rank mercenary group? Who would dare to resist? What? Reward good and punish evil? People of great evil can be mass-funded assassinations. They can even be assassinated at half price after the investigation of the Dragon Assassin mercenary group. Is it true? How could an assassin group have such a rule? This is simply... The Dragon Assassin Group is different from other assassin groups. They have a 3-kill rule. I didn't expect that they would have a reward good and punish evil, mass-funded assassinations, and half-price assassinations. They are becoming more and more special. I feel that the leader of the Dragon Assassin organization is a little kind. There are so many special rules. No matter what, let's kill the Lin family members first. Tell me, can we mass fund the mayor? In the afternoon, in the restaurant where Wang Xian was staying, 3 to 4 members of the mercenary group were sitting in a corner and conversing. At the end, their voices suddenly became very soft. Mass fund assassination of the mayor. Keep your voice down. If you're heard, you're done for. All right. I'm just saying, the mayor and the Lin family have been having an affair. If the mayor didn't support the price of the grain, how could it be sold at such a high price? Why don't we give it a try? Do you want to die? We're just giving it a try. No one else will know. Why don't we give it a try? When Wang Xian ordered Long Yi to reward the good and punish the evil, everyone was shocked. The special rules of the Dragon Spike had astonished many people. Now that there were 2 more, everyone was stunned. However, Soon, smiles appeared on everyone's faces. Since they could crowdfund, they would give it a try. When the first person activated the mass fund mayor, everyone was stunned. What the fuck? Mass fund to assassinate the mayor? Was there a need to be so crazy? However, what shocked everyone even more was that the amount of spirit stones used to assassinate the mayor was increasing. In just a short hour, it had reached 15 million middle-grade spirit stones. Moreover, this number was still increasing. This caused everyone to be dumbstruck. The crowdfunding organization has killed 8 members of the Lin family, and their spirit stones have reached over 7 million middle-grade spirit stones. They've already gathered all of them. However, if the crowdfunding organization were to assassinate the mayor, even if the crowdfunding organization were to really raise 50 million middle-grade spirit stones, the Dragon Spike wouldn't dare to make a move. Would the Dragon Spike dare to assassinate the mayor? If they were to make a move, it would offend the entire Star Moon Kingdom. If this matter were to really blow up, the Dragon Spike would be in big trouble. They probably wouldn't dare to do so. Damn it. No matter what, I'll first add 10,000 middle-grade spirit stones to the mayor. I hope I can get rid of this vampire. If Dragon Spike really dares to assassinate the mayor, I'll be a fucking fan of Dragon Spike in the future. I'm also different from Dragon Spike and other assassin organizations. Since you have so many special rules, then we'll support you in assassinating the mayor. Lin Xiao is a scourge in Bridge Forest Town. We'll support the extermination of him. As the crowdfunding was a public area, they could communicate through the communication stone plate. The entire crowdfunding area was bustling with activity. The Lin family of the Qiao Lin Chamber of Commerce, the Mayor Lin Xiao, had a very bad reputation in Xiaolin Town. Many people wanted them dead. The crowdfunding area was bustling with activity. The spirit stones of the mayor of the crowdfunding area slowly increased to more than 30 million middle-grade spirit stones. Although it was already very high, no one would think that the Dragon Spike would dare to assassinate the mayor. This is really interesting, the mayor of the crowdfunding organization. Wang Xian was also paying attention to the matter of the crowdfunding assassination. He shook his head slowly. It seemed that this mayor had done a lot of bad things. However, just as they thought, Wang Xian did not want to assassinate this mayor. His identity was too special. The Dragon Assassin organization was not weak, but they did not have the ability to compete with Star Moon Kingdom. Chapter 944, Lawlessness. The Dragon Spike mercenary group still hasn't reached the stage where they can kill whoever they want. Wang Xian mumbled. With so many people, it could be seen how unpopular Mayor Lin Xiao was. However, the Dragon Spike had no choice but to take into consideration the strength of the Star Moon Empire. If the Star Moon Empire sent out experts to target the Dragon Spike, although they wouldn't be wiped out, they would still be in big trouble. I think I should stop. Wang Xian shook his head and looked at the other missions. Most of the assassination missions in Xiaolin Town were to assassinate the Lin family. Not only did they assassinate the Lin family's extraordinaire level 4 and level 5 experts, there were also several missions to assassinate the extraordinaire level 1 and level 2 experts. This should be the revenge of the Lin family's disciples who used the Lin family's prestige to humiliate others. The Dragon Spike accepted all the missions. Other than the missions of the Lin family, there weren't many other missions. There were only 5 or 6 missions. The highest mission was to assassinate a leader of the mercenary group who was at extraordinary level 6. When Wang Xian saw this leader of the mercenary group, he felt a sense of familiarity. Then he thought of the leader of the mercenary group who had talked to the Lin family at the entrance last night. He accepted all the missions. Then Wang Xian started to collect the commission. Members of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group, you are surrounded. Come out now. At 5 in the afternoon, a roar suddenly sounded from outside. Wang Xian was stunned. Wang Xian was slightly stunned, and his face was full of astonishment. His eyes flashed with a strange luster, and he immediately looked around. This is... Wang Xian suddenly widened his eyes and looked around with an embarrassed expression. City guards, the city guards of Qilin Town. A total of more than 100 people were standing in front of the restaurant. In the middle stood an old man. Wang Xian immediately recognized this old man. Mayor Lin Xiao. What are they trying to do? Wang Xian's expression was a little ugly as he swept his gaze across the group of people. The Celestial Phoenix mercenary group hired the Dragon Assassin group to assassinate the members of the Lin family. The evidence is conclusive. From today onwards, the remaining members of the Lin family will join the mayor's residence. I hope that some of them will not go against the Star Moon Kingdom. At this moment, Lin Zhao's voice rang out. He was announcing the verdict. He was issuing a warning. Firstly, he was announcing the verdict. The Celestial Phoenix mercenary group hired assassins to assassinate the members of the Lin family. The evidence was conclusive. Secondly, it was a warning to the Dragon Assassin group. The rest of the members of the Lin family were already members of the mayor's mansion. If they were to make a move again, they had to pay attention. A sentence was heard clearly by everyone in the surroundings. Wang Xian's expression changed slightly. A cold look appeared in his eyes. He moved and flew out of the window onto the street with an embarrassed expression. Ao Jian and the rest followed closely behind him. Wang Xian's face was solemn as he looked at Lin Xiao, who was in the sky. Mayor Lin, do you have any evidence that my Immortal Phoenix mercenary group hired assassins to assassinate the Lin family? Evidence? I am the evidence. You hired assassins to assassinate my father and the rest. It was you. At this moment, Lin Feng and a dozen people from the Lin family walked out. They stared at Wang Xian with bloodthirsty eyes and roared with murderous intent. Wang Xian glanced at them and raised his gaze to look at the expressionless Lin Xiao again. Mayor Lin, can the words of a single person from the Lin family be used as evidence? The evidence is conclusive. Come back with us. If there's any injustice, we'll talk about it in the prison cell. Lin Xiao looked at Wang Xian expressionlessly and said coldly, Hiss, the Celestial Phoenix mercenary group is going to be taken away by the mayor. This. When the crowd saw this scene, they immediately understood that the mayor wanted to take revenge for the Lin family. Now, not only does the mayor want to take revenge for the Lin family, he has also warned the secret Dragon Assassin organization that it is forbidden to kill the members of the Lin family. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that Mayor Lin would protect the Lin family directly. This is troublesome. Mayor Lin didn't have any children in his early years and didn't have any relatives. Therefore, he is completely unafraid of the dragon thorns. He also knows that the dragon thorns wouldn't dare to assassinate him. This is troublesome. Damn it. It's over. I didn't expect that the mayor would actually do such a thing. The dragon spike is afraid of the strength of Star Moon Kingdom, so it doesn't dare to make a move at all. When the surrounding crowd saw this scene and heard Lin Zhao's voice, their faces turned ugly. However, the surroundings were deathly silent and no one dared to make a sound. Provoking Lin Xiao was simply courting death. He had 100 ways to kill him. In fact, Lin Xiao, who controlled the formation in the town, was even more terrifying than the Dragon Assassin organization. The Dragon Assassin might still need to assassinate him. As long as he sealed off an area, he could kill him directly. Now, the mayor was obviously protecting the remaining members of the Lin family. This made many people clench their fists tightly. Wang Xian stared at Lin Xiao. A hint of killing intent flashed in his eyes. Mayor Lin, you want to capture us for no reason. Is someone like you worthy of being the mayor? How dare you? Just as Wang Xian finished his sentence, a roar came from the side. An old man standing beside Lin Xiao glared at Wang Xian. How dare a small mercenary group act so arrogantly towards the mayor? Men, suppress them. If they dare to resist, kill them without mercy. Lin Xiao also stared at Wang Xian, coldly with a hint of coldness in his eyes. He raised his head slightly, and an aura of an extraordinary level 8 powerhouse slowly enveloped Wang Xian. This celestial phoenix mercenary group is doomed. It's over. We've offended Lin Xiao. We're dead meat this time. What a pity. Such a good man has fallen in our Qiaolin town. When the surrounding people saw this scene, their expressions changed slightly. Kid, you're dead for sure today. I'm going to cut you into 1,000 pieces. Lin Feng and the rest who were in the middle of the road shouted at Wang Xian with ferocious expressions. Wang Xian's gaze swept across them. A group of city guards surrounded him. Lin Feng was the ferocious cursemancer. There were already close to 10,000 people gathered around him, but no one dared to say anything. Next, the crowdfunding mission to assassinate the mayor. Begin the assassination. Today, the Dragon Assassin Organization will let you know what lawlessness is. Even if it's the mayor, I will still dare to kill him if he gets agitated. When Wang Xian saw this scene, his expression turned cold. He had an idea and immediately gave the order. Assassinate the mayor. Whoosh! A breeze blew over from nowhere. Suddenly, a red piece of paper floated down from the sky. It was densely packed with red pieces of paper. Those who didn't know would think that it was the result of someone getting married. However, it wasn't. The red pieces of paper floated down. Slowly, all the pieces of paper floated towards the position of Mayor Lin Xiao. What is that? On the street below, some people suddenly saw the red piece of paper that appeared out of nowhere and shouted in shock. This is the congratulatory death piece of the Dragon Assassin Organization. What? There is a Dragon Assassin Organization around? What is the Dragon Assassin Organization doing? Everyone looked over and looked at the congratulatory death piece of paper floating toward Mayor Lin Xiao in shock. Chapter 945 Ruled the World. In the central area of Bridge Forest Town, tens of thousands of people gathered around. In the sky, the mayor and a group of city guards were floating in the sky, looking down at everyone. But at this moment, the atmosphere around them became strange. In the sky, a red piece of paper appeared out of thin air and floated in the direction of the mayor, Lin Xiao. It was a piece of paper congratulating death. Everyone around widened their eyes in disbelief. Lin Xiao was also stunned. He looked at the red piece of paper floating towards him with a trace of fear in his eyes. An assassin organization that could assassinate the strongest person in the Lin family. If they wanted to assassinate him, the success rate could reach 80%. He was transferred to Qiaolin town. When he arrived, the Lin family was already the strongest family in Qiaolin town. The resources of the Lin family were not something that he, the mayor, could compare to. His strength was also a little weaker than the strongest person in the Lin family. The red paper seemed to have eyes. At least 100 pieces of paper landed on Lin Zhao's body. Lin Zhao's face was extremely gloomy. He raised his head and scanned the surroundings. Hiss! The city guards behind Lin Xiao looked at the red paper on the mayor's body with fear. Their faces kept changing. Right now, the dragon spike's congratulatory death was as terrifying as a life-threatening talisman. All of it landed on the mayor. Could it be that the dragon spike wants to assassinate the mayor? Isn't this too crazy? Is he going against Star Moon Kingdom? When the surrounding people saw this scene, they gulped, their faces filled with shock. Dragon Spike, do you know what you're doing? You're making an enemy out of Star Moon Kingdom. If you dare to assassinate me, Star Moon Kingdom will not let you off. Lin Xiao slowly turned around in the air and growled in a low voice with a gloomy face. Dragon Spike, reward good and punish evil. Bridge Forest Town's mayor, Lin Xiao, has raised 50 million middle-grade spiritual stones from 100 people. For those who are evil, the number of assassins hired will be halved. He meets the criteria. Protect the Lin family and fight against our Dragon Spike Assassin organization. Congratulations on your death. You are now the one who must be killed by the Dragon Spike. At this moment, a voice came from the sky, and everyone was shocked. Lin Xiao suddenly turned his head and stared the east. The surrounding people also sucked in a breath of cold air. Awesome! An assassin organization rewards good and punishes evil. FUCK, the most unexpected thing is that there are 100 people supporting the assassination of the mayor. They have already raised 50 million middle-grade spirit stones. This is too crazy. This dragon assassin organization is simply too awesome. I'm completely convinced. They actually raised 50 million middle-grade spirit stones and only raised 10 million middle-grade spirit stones at noon. Looks like there are really quite a number of people who want the mayor dead. Where did they raise the money? What's the contact information of the Dragon Assassin organization? How come we don't know? The surrounding people discussed in hushed tones, and shock appeared on their faces. Those who didn't know about the crowdfunding were filled with astonishment as they asked in hushed tones. Crowdfunding. Lin Xiao's expression instantly darkened. Crowdfunding? There was actually someone who wanted to kill him, and they had already raised 50 million middle-grade spirit stones. This caused his expression to be incomparably unsightly, and a trace of fear flashed through his eyes. If you dare to kill me, Star Moon Kingdom will uproot all of you, turning you into street rats. Lin Xiao's expression darkened as he roared loudly. Wang. Right at this moment, the space trembled slightly. Lin Xiao's expression changed, and his face was filled with terror as he scanned his surroundings. A black and white figure suddenly appeared behind him. His expression changed drastically, and his entire body emitted violent water currents. Boom! At this moment, a black and white space instantly appeared in the sky. Half of the black and white space instantly covered an area of 2,000 meters. The entire space was filled with dense light and deep darkness. It looked extremely terrifying. FUCK, what's going on? The Dragon Spike is making a move. What is this? An array formation? Everyone was shocked when they saw the black and white space. The city guards who were standing beside the mayor almost wet their pants in fear as they fled in fear. Their eyes were filled with fear as they looked at the space. On the streets, everyone was staring at the black and white space. The black and white space was a divine ability Ao Yao had obtained after breaking through to the Type 5 Transcendence realm. The name of the divine ability was Light and Darkness. It was a support-type body, and to the Dragon's Pine it was a powerful support-type ability. It could use the light and darkness energy in its body to create a space that was beneficial for their battle. Within this space, its speed and strength could reach 150% of its normal speed. This space could last for 5 minutes. However, 5 minutes was enough. How dare you assassinate me? You dragon thorns deserve to die. Lin Xiao's furious voice came from the black and white space. Pooh! What? However, soon, Lin Xiao's terrified voice was heard, followed by a violent current. Blue seawater appeared in the black and white space. Die! Obviously, the power of the supernatural power was wreaking havoc in this space. The violent flow of water rolled, as if there was an ocean in it. They are fighting. They are really assassinating Mayor Lin Xiao. The Dragon Spike is too powerful. Is Mayor Lin Xiao going to be killed? The powerful warrior of the Lin family has been assassinated. Lin Xiao probably won't be able to escape the assassination of the Dragon Spike. Shocked voices came one after another. Everyone looked at the area in the sky with shocked faces. To assassinate the mayor of a town openly in a town, only an assassin organization like Long CI would dare to do so. How could this be? How could this be? On the street, a group of people from the Lin family raised their heads in fear. their bodies trembling. The dragon Spike dared to assassinate the mayor. What was the Lin family worth then? It's over. The Lin family is finished, Lin Feng mumbled. Regardless of whether the dragon Spike succeeded in assassinating the mayor or not, the Lin family was finished. The mayor could not intimidate the dragon Spike. The only outcome waiting for them was death. Lin Feng was in a daze. At this moment, he felt a gaze looking at him. He raised his head and saw Wang Xian's smiling face. He gritted his teeth and his eyes were bloodshot. If it wasn't for him, if it wasn't for this Celestial Phoenix mercenary group, he would still be the young master of the Lin family. No one would dare to offend him. You want to kill me? Wishful thinking. Suddenly, a roar was heard. Following that, everyone noticed a black shadow flying out from the black and white space. His hair was messy, and his eyes were full of ferocity. He stared at the black and white space coldly. What, the mayor escaped? No, look behind Lin Xiao. Chapter 946. Replace the law enforcement. Mayor Lin Xiao, who was dressed in military uniform, stood on a roof with his hair in a mess. He was in an extremely sorry state. There was a long bloody scar on his chest. At this moment, he looked a little crazy. Compared to the usually arrogant mayor, he was a lot different. He escaped from the black and white space. His eyes were filled with joy and anger. That terrifying monster made his scalp go numb. Just now he had almost been killed. Strange divine abilities, terrifying concealment methods. He was simply a natural-born king of darkness. No, that terrifying monster didn't only have the darkness attribute, it also had the light attribute. A variant, a terrifying variant. However, when he escaped, he heaved a heavy sigh of relief. When he heard the sounds coming from the surroundings, his face was full of fear. His mind moved slightly and his entire body felt a chill. When did he arrive behind me? Lin Zhao's eyes widened as he felt the light and darkness behind him as one entity. His heart was filled with despair. He lowered his head to look at his chest and discovered that it had been directly penetrated. A destructive attack landed on his body. Light and darkness are one? Is that a treasure? How can it be so terrifying? Hiss, Mayor Lin Xiao has been killed. Oh my God! Great, haha. That big bastard Lin Xiao has been killed. This is great. Well done by the Dragon Assassin Organization. This is so cool. I will be a hardcore fan of the Dragon Assassin Organization in the future. They really dare to assassinate me. I don't care about your mayor. Awesome. Under everyone's eyes, the black and white shadow killed the mayor of Qiaoling Town, Lin Xiao, with his own hands, which stunned everyone around him. However, soon, some people showed wild smiles on their faces. Lin Xiao, that bastard, was finally killed. Haha, you may not know this, but I also paid a portion of the spiritual stones for the crowdfunding to assassinate Lin Xiao. A rough, middle-aged man was laughing excitedly, but soon his smile froze, and he realized that he was getting carried away. Haha, brother, you have guts. We will treat you to a meal today. Awesome, brother. If I have the contact information of the Dragon Spike, I will also pay for it. You are a man. We will treat you to a meal today. Haha, come to our Zephyr mercenary group, bro. No one dares to mess with you in Qiaolin Town. However, following that, the surrounding warriors looked at him and said loudly with respect. This made the rough, middle-aged man laugh, foolishly. You actually assassinated the mayor. You are simply lawless. The group of city guards saw the mayor's body and trembled violently as they said with fear on their faces. Ho Yao did not even look at them. With a slight movement, Lin Zhao's body was directly put into his interspatial ring. Immediately after, Ao Yao's figure disappeared. However, when he disappeared, Ao Yao said, "The mayor of Bridge Forest Town is dead. There will be no order in the next few days. The Dragon Spike warns everyone that order will follow in the past. If anyone is lawless, We will take the place of enforcing the law." The cold voice resounded in the entire sky of Bridge, Forest Town. When everyone heard this, their eyes widened in shock. It was especially so for those who were some distance away. They did not know that Mayor Lin Xiao was dead. Furthermore, he had been assassinated by assassins. What made them even more shocked was that after the Dragon Spike Assassin organization killed the mayor, they warned everyone to behave themselves and not violate the order. Otherwise, they would take over the mayor's law. FUCK. Did they have to be so fucking awesome? The lawless one is the Dragon Assassin organization. And now, they want to replace the law enforcement. How can it be described as a fucking awesome one? FUCK, this is too fucking domineering. The Dragon Assassin organization assassinated the mayor without the mayor. Without the mayor in the town, it will definitely fall into chaos. At that time, the strong will rob the weak. Even before the new mayor arrives, Bridge Forest Town will be covered in rivers of blood. The Dragon Assassin obviously knows about this situation, so he directly replaced the law enforcement. 666. To be able to cover the sky with one hand, this is the true ability to cover the sky with one hand. I can assassinate the mayor, and I can also maintain the peace and order of Bridge, Forest Town. With a flip of my hand, I can change the clouds and rain with a flip of my hand. I'm convinced. Dragon Assassin organization. I can kill people, but you can't. I can be lawless, but you can't. When the surrounding people heard this, the expressions on their faces were very interesting. This FUCK. There was no way to describe it. However, the things that had happened in the past 2 days had also given Bridge, Forest Town, a better understanding of the Dragon Assassin organization. The Dragon Assassin's 3 no-kill rule was very special and had a bottom line. Later, the rule of rewarding good and punishing evil, crowdfunding assassinations, and half price for the great and evil made everyone feel that this was not an assassin organization. It was more like a chivalrous hero who would draw his sword to help when he encountered injustice. Many people were rather impressed by this assassin organization. For an organization that focused on assassinations, this was definitely something unimaginable. Wang Xian scanned his surroundings with a smile on his face and slowly walked towards the restaurant. As for assassinating the mayor, although he was rather worried, he had no regrets since he had done it. I was prepared to let him live. You are the one who is courting death. Wang Xian mumbled. The amount of spirit stones needed to assassinate the mayor did not reach 50 million. It was only about 21 million middle-grade spirit stones. However, to assassinate a mayor, an official of Star Moon Kingdom, and an extraordinary level 8 powerhouse, it would cost at least 100 million spirit stones. Even if he was an evil person, it would still cost 50 million middle-grade spirit stones. The loss of more than 20 million spirit stones could be considered as Wang Xian's own contribution. As a mayor, Lin Xiao deserved to die. He couldn't be compared to Jin Qianyuan, the mayor of the Holy See Town. Complete the mission of the Lin family. However, after a few more missions, I have to leave the Bridge Forest Town. If the Star Moon Kingdom sends a powerhouse over, I might be in some trouble. Wang Xian thought to himself. After all, Lin Xiao was assassinated when he was captured. If he were to meet another unreasonable person, he would be in trouble. He would be able to prepare himself by leaving 2 strange demons here to scout for information. In Xiaolin Town, everyone was discussing the assassination of Mayor Lin Xiao. Following that, they were discussing the Dragon Assassin organization. The people of Xiaolin Town never expected that it was actually an assassin organization, which made them live a much better life in the future. The prestige of the Dragon Assassin organization was deeply rooted in the hearts of the people in Xiaolin Town. 2 days passed slowly, and the Dragon Assassin organization completed more than 20 missions. More than 10 of them were from the Lin family. The assassination of the Dragon Assassin made everyone shocked and afraid. Everyone prayed that the assassination would not come to them. an assassin organization that could even assassinate a mayor who could escape their assassination. Chapter 947 was a spendthrift. The harvest in Bridge Forest Town this time is much more than that in Shanghai Town. 2 days later, when Wang Xian learned that the new mayor was coming, he led the members of the Dragon Palace and left Bridge Forest Town. The harvest in Bridge Forest Town these few days was not something that Shanghai Town could compare to. He assassinated 2 extraordinary level 8 powerhouses. One of them was the Lin family of the Bridge Forest Business Association, the biggest force in Bridge Forest Town. The other one was the most powerful person in Bridge Forest Town, the mayor. These 2 powerhouses were notorious and had plundered a lot of money. In their interspatial rings, Wang Xian had obtained more than 200 million middle-grade spirit stones. The other resources were worth 40 to 50 million middle-grade spirit stones. The harvest this time was far beyond Wang Xian's imagination. The fastest way to earn money is to kill and rob. Although the Dragon Spike is an assassin organization, it is somewhat similar. Wang Xian smiled. All the money of Qiao Lin Town's mayor, Lin Xiao, was stored in his interspatial ring. To a strong person, the interspatial ring on his hand was the safest place. With so many spiritual stones, if I were to buy elixirs and exchange them for dragon crystals, 10 million spiritual stones could be exchanged for about 7,000 dragon crystals. 100 million would be 70,000. If it's more than 200 million, at least 160,000 dragon crystals would be able to raise 1 strength to Transcendent Level 5. It would be able to raise all the strange demons and golden swordfish to Transcendent Level 4. It would even be able to raise 1 or 2 strange demons to Transcendent Level 5. Wang Xian calculated in his heart. After this upgrade, his strength had increased tremendously. This was especially so for the strange demons. In the future, even the weakest of them would be able to assassinate a Transcendent Level 6 powerhouse. After improving my strength, it's time for me to head to Donghai City. The Demon Hunters Academy is about to start. With my strength, there's nothing left for me to learn. However, some of the information there should be of great use to me. Wang Xian thought to himself. When he returned, Wang Xian still took the Bridge Forest Beast Park route. The speed of his return was even faster than when he came. In just a day's time, Wang Xian and the rest arrived at the Holy Sea Town. Wang Xian headed straight for the Phoenix Elixir and Weapons Workshop. Shopkeeper Lu sat in the shop while a group of customers were buying elixirs. After the Knife Scar mercenary group was eliminated by Wang Xian and the rest, the Life and Death Elixir Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop had no way to deal with Phoenix Immortal. Furthermore, they didn't dare to suppress them anymore. In fact, they were a little worried that Feng Xian would join hands with the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group to suppress them. Captain Wang. When Wang Xian stepped into the shop, the waiter immediately recognized him and greeted him respectfully. Captain Wang, you're here. Are you here to buy some elixirs? Manager Lu was excited when he saw Wang Xian. He quickly asked, Yes, I bought a little too much this time. Wang Xian walked over and said with a smile, A little too much. Manager Lu was stunned. His pupils couldn't help but contract. Previously, when Wang Xian came to buy elixirs, he didn't say much even when he spent 8 million middle-grade spirit stones. Could it be this time? A hint of excitement flashed in his eyes. Captain Wang, please come in. All right. Wang Xian nodded and went to a living room in the shop. Manager Lu quickly brewed a cup of tea for Wang Xian. Leader Wang, how many spirit stones of elixirs do you want this time? 200 million middle-grade spirit stones of elixirs, as usual. Wang Xian took a sip with a smile and said, What? Manager Lu's body trembled and his face turned red instantly. He stared at Wang Xian excitedly. Leader Wang, how much do you want? 200 million middle-grade spirit stones. Wang Xian replied again. All right, Leader Wang. You have so many spirit stones, but we don't have so many elixirs. Even Donghai City might not have so many. I will report this to the headquarters immediately. Please wait a moment, wait a moment. Manager Liu looked at Wang Xian excitedly and immediately took out his communication stone plate to contact Manager Yi on the spot. When Manager Yi learned that Wang Xian was going to purchase 200 million middle-grade spirit stones for the medicinal pills, his eyes widened. 200 million middle-grade spirit stones. That was enough to purchase a few transcendent 9th-grade medicinal pills. This was insane. This was simply insane. However, Manager E quickly reacted and immediately contacted his superiors. The Phoenix Immortal Medicinal Pills and Weapons Workshop was not as powerful as the Draconids had described. At present, they only had a firm foothold in the 5 kingdoms, and they hadn't even stepped into the Empire. Compared to the Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop, there was still a huge gap. However, the Phoenix Immortal's background was very strong, and it was established by the Fire Cloud Sparrow clan. The Fire Cloud Sparrow didn't belong to humans, but to the Demon Beast clan. Demon beasts possessed intelligence, and some demon beasts even lived with humans, and they also followed the laws of humans. The Fire Cloud Sparrow was once the most loyal demon beast tribe of the Phoenix Empire's Empress. After the Empress died, the Phoenix Empire changed its dynasty, and a group of the Empress's loyal subordinates were stripped of their rights. After the Empress died, the Fire Cloud Sparrow tribe returned to the Fire Cloud mountain range and lived in seclusion. 2 years ago, they suddenly appeared and established the Phoenix Immortal Pill and Weapons Workshop. The current Phoenix Empire was ranked in the top 3 in the Empire. The Fire Cloud Sparrow tribe still had some connections in the Phoenix Empire. In addition, the Fire Cloud Sparrow clan was also very powerful. This resulted in the rapid development of the Phoenix Immortal Pill and Weapons Workshop. In just over 2 years, it had covered the 5 great kingdoms. The speed was already very fast. Wang Xian had taken out 200 million middle-grade spirit stones to buy the pills in one go. This surprised the Phoenix Immortal greatly. To be able to take out more than 200 million spirit stones in one town was very terrifying. Captain Wang, it just so happens that someone from our headquarters is here to buy some carcasses of ferocious beasts. The pills will be delivered within 2 days. Please wait a moment. Very soon, Manager Liu replied to Wang Xian. Sure, just inform me directly through the communication stone plate when the time comes. Wang Xian nodded his head and said to them, Yes, yes. Manager Liu nodded his head respectfully, buying elixirs with a wave of his hand for 200 million spirit stones. This, spending money like gold. He was just a small shopkeeper of Shanghai town, and he managed to sell over 200 million middle-grade spirit stones for elixirs in a short period of time. It was estimated that the headquarters would give him a promotion and raise his salary soon. After shopkeeper Liu sent him out of the shop respectfully, Wang Xian walked towards his residence. In the next 2 days, Wang Xian was preparing to return to the Dragon Palace. In Xiaolin town, Ao Yao and the rest did not only obtain huge resources. There were also corpses. There were 2 corpses of level 8 transcendence, 2 of level 7 transcendence, more than a dozen of level 6 transcendence, and more than 20 of level 5 transcendence. Most of them were from the Lin family. With so many corpses, it was sufficient for an Ao Yao of level 5 transcendence to evolve once again. After evolving, the Ao Yao would reach rank 6 transcendent. With the Dragon Spur, he would have the strength to assassinate a rank 9 transcendent. He could be considered a peak existence below the insightful Void Realm. With the Ao Yao around, he would be safer on the Transcendent Continent. Chapter 948. Level Up. There is a huge gap between the level of insight, void, and transcendence. A.O. Yao, who is at level 7 of transcendence, or even A.O. Yao, who is at level 8 of transcendence, might not be able to fight against the insight, void. First, I need to upgrade A.O. Yao to level 6 of transcendence. Next, I need to upgrade my other abilities. Wang Xian thought to himself. The biggest area between the insight, void, and transcendence was the transformation of supernatural powers. Transcendence cultivated their supernatural powers. When they reached the insightful emptiness realm, they would transform their supernatural powers into Dharma images, increasing their power by dozens of times. This was a powerful watershed. It was very difficult to cross this threshold and fight across levels. After resting for a while, Wang Xian led the group of draconids to the Dragon Palace. As Wang Xian expected, the group of corpses of the level 8 and level 7 transcendence elevated A.O. Yao to level 6 of the transcendence. In addition, 2 supernatural realm strange demons were elevated to level 5 supernatural realm. In the sea area of the supernatural continent, those strange demons that were elevated to level 2 supernatural realm also began to hunt ferocious beasts. Now, the development speed of the Dragon Palace was more than 10 times faster than before. More and more members of the Dragon Palace broke through to the supernatural realm. Such a terrifying development speed was absolutely shocking. This time, Wang Xian stayed in the Dragon Palace for 2 days. He even woke up Shu Qing and the other girls. This time when he returned and left, it might not be as easy as staying in Shanghai town. Donghai City was very far away from Shanghai town. It would take 4 to 5 days to reach Donghai City from Shanghai town. At that time, he would only return once every 2 to 3 months at most. After Wang Xian spent a good day with the group of girls, he made them unable to get out of bed. Then, he led A.O. Yao and the rest to leave again. The group of girls began their closed-door cultivation once again. 2 days is pretty punctual. When Wang Xian had just returned to Shanghai town, Manager Lu's message was sent over. Wang Xian walked toward the Fengxian elixir and weapons workshop with a smile on his face. Leader Wang. Upon seeing Wang Xian's arrival, Manager Lu and Manager Yi hurried over. Manager Yi, who had just left for a few days, rushed over immediately after learning that Wang Xian had bought 200 million middle-grade spirit stones in one go. If not for the recent setback to the Fengxian elixir and weapons workshop, there might have been people of even higher status coming over. Are the elixirs ready? Wang Xian walked over and asked directly. All right. Commander Wang, let's take a look inside. 200 million middle-grade spirit stones was not considered a lot. A transcendent 7th grade elixir was worth more than 10 million middle-grade spirit stones. However, the preciousness of these elixirs was self-evident. Wang Xian took a look and was very satisfied. He handed over 200 million middle-grade spirit stones directly to them. Leader Wang, it's really a pleasure to work with you. In the future, if you need to purchase elixirs, you can tell Manager Lu directly. We will prepare them in advance. It will be more convenient for you then. After the transaction was completed, Manager Yi said with excitement. That's right, Leader Wang. In the future, if you need elixirs, tell me in advance. Manager Lu quickly agreed. I'm afraid I won't be in Shanghai town in 2 days. Wang Xian looked at them and said with a smile, I'll head to Donghai City tomorrow and enter the Demon Hunters Academy. Commander Wang, you're going to Donghai City. Manager, he was slightly taken aback. Then he quickly said, What a coincidence. I'm in charge of the Fengxian elixir and weapons workshop in Donghai City. Commander Wang, if you need anything, you can come and look for me. You can also tell me directly if you want to buy elixirs. Is that so? Wang Xian raised his eyebrows and said, That's good. I might really need Supervisor Yi's help with something. Don't worry, Leader Wang. I'm more familiar with Donghai City. Just tell me if there's anything I can help you with. Supervisor Yi's eyes lit up as he said, "Okay, then I'll have to trouble Supervisor E to help me find a courtyard that is slightly better. When the time comes, I'll go and take a look. Is that all right?" Wang Xian said without any trace of politeness. "Don't worry, leave it to me. When Leader Wang is new here, I'll treat you well." Supervisor E agreed with a smile on his face. "All right." Wang Xian nodded with a smile. After exchanging a few more pleasantries, he left Feng Xian and walked towards his residence. "Let's talk about it after I've improved my strength." When he entered the room, Wang Xian placed the pills into his mouth, one by one. Ding! Consuming a level 6 transcendent pill to extract 1,800 dragon crystals. Ding! Consuming a level 7 transcendent pill to extract 7,500 dragon crystals. Ding! Congratulations to host for increasing your level to level 5 transcendent. Ding! Congratulations to host for comprehending the supernatural powers of light and darkness. Name: Wang Xian. Race: 5 elemental divine dragon, able to transform into a human. Level: extraordinary level 5. Dragon crystal: 68 340/1000 000. Supernatural power: ruling the water tribe. Ruling the water tribe that is lower than one's own level. Devouring creatures to extract dragon crystals. Control of the 5 elements. Cultivation method: divine dragon transformation. Supernatural power: fire dragon's flame. Gold splits the void. Wood world descends. Water crisis rampage city. Wrath of the earth soul capture. Spirit possession. Light and dark fire dragon eyes. Light and dark void, light and dark shadowless, light and dark. Dragon Palace, level 2. Members of the Dragon Palace, 3,355. The next upgrade will cost 1,000,000 dragon crystals. FUCK, if it is converted to middle grade spirit stones, it will cost more than 1 billion. That's too much. The corner of Wang Xian's mouth twitched. More than 1 billion spirit stones. He did not know how long it would take to earn it. Looking at the additional 60,000 dragon crystals, Wang Xian immediately called Ao Yao and the rest over. One by one, they imparted their dragon chi to them. After consuming more than 60,000 dragon crystals, all the strange demons and golden swordfish were upgraded to transcendent level rank 4. The further they went, the more the strange demons and golden swordfish needed tens of thousands of dragon crystals. It was becoming more and more difficult to upgrade their strength. 18 strange demons had reached transcendent level rank 4. 2 strange demons were at transcendent level rank 5. AO demons were at transcendent level rank 6. 10 golden swordfish were at transcendent level 4. In addition to Wang Xian, who was at transcendent level 5, this was the top-notch strength of the Dragon Palace. Although it will be harder and harder to level up in the future, my strength is pretty good now. Wang Xian was already very satisfied with the fact that he had reached such a level in less than a month. With this strength, I should be able to mingle around in Donghai City. The corner of Wang Xian's mouth curled up slightly as he walked straight to the location of the Demon Hunters Association. The Holy Sea Town had been unusually lively for the past few days. After the monsters attacked the city, many chambers of commerce came from all over the place. There were the most chambers of commerce from Donghai City. Wang Xian was prepared to accept an escort mission and head to Donghai City. There is a large mission on the mission stone plate. Escort the Chamber of Commerce back to Donghai City and recruit at least 20 mercenary groups. According to the level of the mercenary groups, the level of the mission will be determined. Such a large-scale escort mission is rare. It just so happens that the Fairy Phoenix mercenary group can follow this caravan to Donghai City. Wang Xian thought to himself as he walked into the demon-hunting mercenary group. The moment he entered the mercenary group, Wang Xian realized that the hall of the mercenary group today was different from the past. In the entire hall, there were rows and rows of personnel from the Chamber of Commerce. There were at least a dozen of personnel from the Chamber of Commerce. Every Chamber of Commerce was recruiting mercenary groups. Chapter 949. They were unqualified. Today's mercenary group was completely occupied by the Chamber of Commerce, and some mercenary groups in the surrounding area were answering the call. There were at least 20 chambers of commerce, some big and some small, but the mercenary groups employed were all at least 2 or 3 silver stars. It usually took 4 or 5 days to travel from Holy See Town to EC City, but for such a large-scale business group, it would take at least a week. Due to the distance, the mercenary group needed to reach at least 3 to 4 stars of silver or even higher. It was usually safer to follow such a business group of 3 to 400 people. However, if one was unlucky and encountered danger, there wouldn't be any ordinary danger. The ferocious beasts wouldn't dare to attack if there were too many people. Once they attacked, they would become powerful ferocious beasts or groups of ferocious beasts. Wang Xian entered the hiring association and swept his gaze across all the chambers of commerce. Each chamber of commerce had a different scale and required different levels of hiring groups. Each chamber of commerce would recruit their own hiring groups individually. Finally, they would set off together. Recruit the hiring groups that are at least 5-star silver tier, including 5-star silver tier. Wang Xian looked at the 2 middle-aged men and an old man who were standing in the middle and conversing with the few people beside him. "Let's go and take a look," Wang Xian said to Ao Jian and the rest before walking straight towards him. "Everyone from the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce, please continue to hire a mercenary group." Wang Xian walked over and said to them directly, "Okay." A middle-aged man immediately turned his head and looked at Wang Xian. His eyes swept towards the badge on his chest. "A 2-star gold mercenary group?" The middle-aged man exclaimed in surprise. However, he frowned slightly when he saw the faces of Wang Xian and the rest. "A 2-star gold star mercenary group. This is considered the best in Shanghai town." The rest of the people at the side also looked over. A middle-aged man looked at Wang Xian and the rest and said in a deep voice, "Your mercenary group meets our standards. However, you need to bring out the main force of the mercenary group. This time, we will issue a mission of at least 1-star gold star. If the mercenary group doesn't send out strong numbers, it will still be against the rules." The middle-aged man said directly to Wang Xian. The meaning was obvious. The level of the mercenary group was a condition. However, the members who carried out this mission also had to meet the conditions. The escort mission was obviously different from other missions. Wang Xian nodded and said directly, "All the members of our Immortal Phoenix mercenary group are here. We can accept your mission. There are only 12 people in a gold mercenary group." A voice came from the side. A bald, middle-aged man, dressed in black, walked over with his arms crossed and his head held high. His gaze swept across everyone in Wang Xian's group. A special energy swept across Wang Xian and the rest. "Deputy Leaderling, can you help me take a look?" The middle-aged man said with a smile when he saw the bald leader walking over. "Just test your strength." The bald, middle-aged man moved his palm and threw out a stone plate. The stone plate was suspended in the air and was emitting light. "The few of you, test your strength," the bald, middle-aged man said directly. "Huh." Wang Xian revealed a surprised expression as he looked at the bald, middle-aged man. His gaze landed on the spot on his chest. There was a golden badge with 4 stars on it. A 4-star gold mercenary group. A spirit beast mercenary group. This should be a mercenary group that came from Donghai City. Our strength cannot be detected by a test stone plate. Wang Xian looked at the stone plate in front of him and said with a smile, "You guys can ask around." We only believe what we see with our eyes. If we want to accept this mission, we have to have the strength. The bald, middle-aged man said as the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. It's not bad that you are a gold mercenary group, but who knows if your leader and experts have died, leaving behind a bunch of trash. The bald, middle-aged man's words caused the members of the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce to slowly nod their heads. Vice Leaderling was right. This kind of thing was not uncommon. Some gold mercenary groups went on missions. If the mission failed, all the experts in the group would die. Then, the strength of this gold mercenary group might not even be comparable to a silver mercenary group. Let's test it out. The bald, middle-aged man stared at the captain badge on Wang Xian's chest. A hint of mockery appeared on his face. He didn't believe that such a young man was qualified to be the captain of a 2-star gold mercenary group. Wang Xian frowned slightly. Their levels were indeed not high. Even the highest level, Ao Yao, who was at level 6 of the supernatural realm, couldn't show himself. He was only at level 5 of the supernatural realm. What's wrong, kid? Could it be that all the strong people in the group have died? That's why you're the leader. Hee. A mercenary group like yours is not even as good as some silver ones, the bald, middle-aged man said loudly with a face full of mockery. What a waste of time. The few people from the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce frowned and showed a hint of impatience on their faces. They warned Wang Xian, if you want to accept the escort mission, you have to have real strength. I'm not trash like you guys. Let's go. As they spoke, they waved their hands impatiently. In Shanghai town, there is no mercenary group that is stronger than us. Wang Xian frowned slightly and placed his hand on the testing stone plate. Oh! The bald, middle-aged man raised his eyebrows and looked at the testing stone plate. Then his eyes widened. Level 5 Transcendence. Impressive. I really didn't expect that there would be such a powerful young man in such a small Shanghai town. The bald, middle-aged man's eyes sparkled. No wonder a kid was appointed as the leader. His aptitude is really terrifying. However, you guys are still not qualified. Following that, he raised his head and looked at Wang Xian with a smile on his face. A 2-star gold rank mercenary group. The leader is actually at level 5 Transcendence. Let's go. You guys are not qualified. With your strength, don't do the escort mission. You are simply looking for trouble. The few people from the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce said to Wang Xian with a cold face. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows and smiled. If we are not qualified, no one would be qualified. Why are you still pestering us after saying that you are not qualified? The few people from the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce stared at him coldly. Wang Xian glanced at them with slight disdain. Then he turned around and walked toward another chamber of commerce. Captain Wang. Just as he turned around, a group of people came up to him directly. When they saw Wang Xian, they greeted him respectfully immediately. Yes. Wang Xian nodded his head faintly. He didn't recognize the other party either. The other party, and more than 20 people smiled when they saw Wang Xian's indifferent reply and walked straight to the front. Everyone from the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce, we are here to accept your mission. A middle-aged mercenary group, led by a middle-aged man, said to the staff of the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce after missing Wang Xian and the rest. Finally, a capable mercenary group has arrived. It's much better than the 2-star gold mercenary group that was full of water. Chapter 950 had gotten a great bargain. The members of the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce saw more than 20 people walking over. The middle-aged man in the lead was emitting a thick, murderous aura, and a satisfied expression appeared on his face. A 5-star, silver-rank mercenary group. You should meet our standards. A middle-aged man continued to say. Vice Leaderling of the Spirit Beast Mercenary Group, next to them, glanced at them and nodded slightly. What? Everyone from the whale shark mercenary group was slightly stunned. They asked in astonishment, "Which 2-star gold mercenary group?" "It's that kid's mercenary group. All the experts in the group must have died. Why don't you take a look at your own strength? You still want to accept our mission? You're not qualified." The middle-aged man from the Ivy Club pointed at the backs of Wang Xian and the rest. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows and turned around. "Did you see that? It's that kid. He's still a little displeased." The few people from the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce saw Wang Xian's back and said with a face full of mockery. A hint of displeasure flashed across Wang Xian's eyes as he looked at the Whale Shark Mercenary Group. The Whale Shark Mercenary Group felt like vomiting blood. They turned around and looked at the people from the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce as if they were looking at a retard. The Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group doesn't meet the standard. The Whale Shark Mercenary Group's leader asked in astonishment. Their mercenary group is called the Immortal Phoenix? There are 12 people and they are weak. Naturally, they are not qualified to accept our mission. I see that everyone's strength. If even the Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group is not qualified, we are even less qualified. The leader of Whale Shark shook his head at the members of the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce and interrupted the middle-aged man. What? The members of the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce were slightly stunned. They didn't understand what the leader of Whale Shark had said. If even the Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group is not qualified, then no mercenary group in the entire Holy See town is qualified. I think you should stop issuing missions. Captain Whale Shark raised his voice, slightly cupped his fists, and then turned to leave. You. Everyone in the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce was completely stunned. Captain, are we not accepting this mission? No. Just now, Captain Immortal Phoenix was obviously dissatisfied with the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce. In order not to offend Immortal Phoenix, we don't accept this mission. That's true. There's no need to accept this mission. The Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group is too crazy. The Whale Shark Mercenary Group immediately left and whispered to each other. As for the Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group, the people of Holy See Town only knew that they had destroyed the Mirage Sea Mercenary Group and the Saber Scar Mercenary Group. They didn't know that in Bridge Forest Town they had used 100 million spirit stones to hire the Dragon Spike to assassinate the Lin family of Bridge Forest Town. They had just returned from Bridge Forest Town yesterday, but they had heard the discussions of the Bridge Forest Town Mercenary Group. Just because of 1 million middle-grade spirit stones, the Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group had directly offered 100 million middle-grade spirit stones to kill the Lin family. It was absolutely crazy. Offending the Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group for a mission was not worth it. They would never do such a thing, as they were cautious. Moreover, this Green Vine Chamber of Commerce didn't even know about the Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group. He was also an idiot. FUCK, what's going on? Why are they so afraid when they hear the name of the Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group? The faces of the people from the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce turned ugly. What the FUCK was going on? It wasn't easy for a qualified mercenary group to come here, and they just left. The deputy leader of the spirit beasts frowned slightly and revealed a look of surprise. Are you guys here to accept the mission? I wonder if you guys will accept the mission here. Just as Wang Xian walked over from the position of the Chamber of Commerce, a voice was suddenly heard. Wang Xian looked over and saw a woman looking at him. The woman looked to be in her 20s and 30s. Her looks were not very outstanding. He looked at Wang Xian and the rest. Although I didn't hear what you guys said just now, I saw the level on the test stone plate. You guys have the ability to accept our mission. Oh! Wang Xian smiled. What level is the mission? How much is the reward? A 4-star silver grade mission. The reward is 50,000 middle grade spirit stones. The lady said to Wang Xian directly. 50,000 middle grade spirit stones. Wang Xian smiled but nodded nonetheless. All right, we'll accept the mission. All right, we're here with the business group, so we'll set off together. We'll set off tonight. The lady said to Wang Xian directly. All right. Wang Xian nodded. A 4-star silver-grade mission of 50,000 middle-grade spirit stones was simply too little for him. However, he had been rejected by a chamber of commerce just now, which made him lose the intention to continue searching for missions. Since it was on the way to Donghai City, he decided to treat it as a side trip. All right. The lady nodded her head happily. Do you guys still want to go and prepare? No need. We can just wait here. We will set off directly tonight. Wang Xian shook his head. Yes, all right. There are only 7 or 8 people in our Chamber of Commerce, and only 3 carriages. The woman said to Wang Xian. When the time comes, we'll follow the team of the Chamber of Commerce. If we're lucky, we won't encounter any danger. Wang Xian nodded at the side. He sat behind Ao Jian and the rest and waited. Father, Lu Yan! After about 2 hours, the woman's voice rang out. Hanin! Thank you for your classmate, Lu Yan, this time. If it weren't for her, we wouldn't have gotten so many supplies. Hanin, you have to thank Miss Jean properly. Uncle, you're too polite. Hanin and I are like sisters. The voice of conversation sounded. The woman smiled and looked at her father and the girl beside her. Have you found the mercenary group? The middle-aged man asked the woman with a smile. We've hired them. The woman nodded. Let's get ready. We'll set off soon. Okay, leave it to me. You and Miss Jean sit here and rest for a while. The middle-aged man touched the woman's head. Lu Yan, when I was looking for the mercenary group, I recruited a handsome guy, and he's a very talented genius, right? Handsome guy? Han, you're really something. Are you looking for a mercenary group or a handsome guy? If your father finds out, he won't beat you to death. The most important thing is that our family's small business doesn't pay a high commission. It's rare to find a mercenary group. So I happened to find a group with an extraordinary tier 5 expert. Naturally, I went over to ask, but I didn't expect it to be successful. You're really something. There's a handsome guy over there. Let me take a look. Keep your voice down. He's over there. The 2 girls chatted with each other while smiling. Zhou Henin pointed at Wang Xian and the rest who were sitting at the back. This. Jean Luyan looked over. When she saw Wang Xian's figure, her eyes immediately widened in disbelief. He looked at his best friend and then at Wang Xian. He couldn't believe it. They accepted your mission. Chapter 9:51. Huh? What's wrong? Luyan, do you know them? Zhou Henin looked at Jean Luyan in surprise and asked curiously, How many spirit stones is the commission for this mission? Jean Luyan asked in astonishment. 50,000 middle-grade spirit stones. You know that if it weren't for you, our family wouldn't be able to form a small chamber of commerce. Zhou Henin said as she held her arm. 50,000 middle-grade spirit stones? Henin, your luck is really good. Jean Luyan said somewhat speechlessly. What's wrong? Zhou Henin looked at him in surprise. That young man is the leader of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group, the king of the Holy Sea Town mercenary group. Not long ago, the monsters of Holy Sea Town attacked the city, and that young man killed everyone. During the monster siege, the Fairy Phoenix mercenary group destroyed the Mirage Sea mercenary group, which was a 5-star silver mercenary group. Their leader was a level 6 transcendent. Then they destroyed the Knife Scar mercenary group. The Knife Scar mercenary group was once the strongest mercenary group in Holy Sea Town. Their leader, Knife Scar, was a level 7 transcendent. That young man is very mysterious. At such a young age, he has 2 attributes, wood and fire. He is a monster and a prodigy. Since you are able to hire them, it must be because the Demon Hunters Academy is about to start its semester. He is heading to Donghai City to enroll. Jean Luyen introduced him to Zhou Hanin. This. Zhou Hanin widened her eyes. So powerful. Doesn't that mean that I have gained a huge advantage? What do you think? Jean Luyen's eyes were sparkling as she stared at Wang Xian. Her eyes were filled with shock. Such a prodigy was unstoppable even in the entire Star Moon Kingdom, not to mention the genius disciples in their academy. Compared to him, they were miles apart. Luyen, looking at the way you worship him, don't tell me you have fallen in love with him. Zhou Han clicked her tongue slightly. When she saw Jean Luyen's expression, she suddenly said mockingly, "Such a young prodigy, even I admire him." Jean Luyen didn't try to hide anything and said generously, "That's true. If he's really as powerful as you say, all the beauties in Donghai City will pounce on him." Zhou Han said softly, "A prodigy of a generation would attract countless beauties. This was a world of powerhouses. As long as one had the strength, it was normal to have multiple wives. Let's go and get to know each other." Jean Luyen hesitated for a moment before walking towards Wang Xian. "Hello, Captain Wang." Just as Wang Xian was sitting and drinking tea, a female voice sounded. Wang Xian turned around and nodded at them. "Hello. I've heard so much about you." Jean Luyen smiled and walked to the side before sitting down. "I didn't expect that I would be able to hire such a powerful mercenary group like Xian Feng." Zhou Hanin also smiled as she spoke to Wang Xian. "Hee, I'm heading to Donghai City as well. It's on the way too." Wang Xian smiled as his gaze swept across the two girls. Zhou Hanin's looks were above average. Jean Luyen could be said to be a great beauty. With Leader Wang's strength, if you were to enter Donghai City, even the prodigies of Donghai City would pale in comparison. "I heard that you are going to enter the Demon Hunter Academy?" Jean Luyen asked with a smile. "Yes, I'm going to enter the Demon Hunters Academy to gain some experience." Wang Xian nodded his head. "We are students of the Eastern Sea Academy. However, we have also joined the mercenary group of a senior from the Demon Hunters Academy. Is this your first time going to the Eastern Sea City?" "Is that so?" "This is my first time coming to the Eastern Sea City." Two girls came over to chat with him. Wang Xian did not reject them and began to communicate with them. He didn't know anything about Donghai City. It was also his first time entering the city of the supernatural continent. He learned a lot from them. Han, this must be someone from the mercenary group, right? Let's go, we're leaving." More than half an hour later, a middle-aged man walked over and said to them, "All right, let's go. We're leaving. The journey will take 7 days." Zhou Hanin stood up and said to them. Wang Xian and the rest also stood up and walked out of the hiring association. Come. All the carriages, line up." Just as they walked out of the hiring association, there were shouts coming from outside. Wang Xian looked over and saw nearly 200 carriages lined up neatly in 2 rows. They looked very imposing. "The Zhou Chamber of Commerce will move your carriages to the last position." At this moment, 2 old men walked up to them and spoke directly to Zhou Han's father. "What?" Zhou Han's father was slightly taken aback. "What's wrong? Didn't we draw lots and decide the order? Why are you asking us to go to the last position?" All right. Isn't the last position pretty good? Hurry up and go if I ask you to go." The 2 old men stared at him and said with a sullen face, "You. Good." Zhou Han's father nodded with a sullen face. "What's wrong, father? Why did you let us be the last?" Zhou Han saw it and quickly walked to her father's side and asked, "Sai, forget it. Let's be the last. The seats at the back are also okay." "Father," Zhou said with a sullen face, "because of Miss Jean, we took down a batch of fierce beast corpses from the mayor's mansion and offended the ancient River Chamber of Commerce and the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce. They are somewhat against us. Originally, our fleet should be in the center of the lot drawing, but now... Let's go. Father Zhou was a little unhappy as he spoke. "These guys..." Zhou Henin glared at the two largest teams in the middle of the town angrily. Brother mercenary group, we are at the back of the caravan. It will be tough on all of you for the next 7 days. Father Zhou looked at Wang Xian and the rest. We just need to be vigilant. If we encounter any ferocious beasts, the entire caravan will be attacked by hundreds of mercenary groups. Don't worry. We will escort you safely to Donghai City. Wang Xian nodded and said with a smile, All right. Thank you for your hard work. Let's get on the carriage. The 2 rows of caravans were 200 to 300 meters long. They were pulled by strong horses, and many members of the mercenary group were following them on horseback. Father Zhou didn't say anything when he saw that they didn't have any horses to carry them. After all, they had only offered 50,000 spirit stones. It was already good enough for them to hire a mercenary group with extraordinary 5th-rank experts. The Chamber of Commerce walked out of the south gate and headed toward East Sea City. It was already nighttime. Because they had to cross a swamp in 10 hours, they had to set off at night. During the day, they would arrive at that relatively dangerous area. All mercenary groups are responsible for their own region's problems, especially the mercenary groups at the front and back. Be a good scout. At this time, an old man directly flew into the sky and ordered all the mercenary groups. He's the vice leader of the Spirit Beast mercenary group in East Sea City, a powerful existence at transcendent 7th grade. We only need to be on guard. Hearing the voice of the old man in the sky, some of the mercenary groups whispered. Wang Xian gestured to a golden swordfish and asked him to follow behind. With Ao Yao and the rest around, Wang Xian wasn't worried at all. Chapter 952. Fierce Beast Emperor Crocodile. The vice leader of the Spirit Beast mercenary group in the sky watched the action of the mercenary group below. When he saw the last part of the mercenary group, he suddenly raised his eyebrows. With a glance, he moved his body and directly landed at the lowest position. Vice Leaderling, is there any problem with the vigilance? An old man asked cautiously. Don't worry, Elder Shao. With our Spirit Beast mercenary group here, there won't be any problems. Haha, with Vice Leaderling here, we'll be at ease. An old man next to him said with a smile. Hee, right? Supervisor Do, we just encountered an interesting matter. That Immortal Phoenix mercenary group is at the back. Vice Leaderling said with a smile. That mercenary group? At the back? The last one seems to be the small chamber of commerce that the Zhou family just established this year. The middle-aged man, called Supervisor, Do slightly raised his eyebrows. It should be right. I remember that their mercenary group's commission is only 50,000. Deputy Commander Ling said with a slight mocking tone. That mercenary group accepted a mission with a commission of 50,000 middle-grade spirit stones? It's really interesting. I really can't imagine that a powerful mercenary group would accept such a mission. Supervisor Do's face darkened as he said, coldly, I don't know why that mercenary group refused the mission back then, but I can confirm that the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group is a trash mercenary group. Vice Leaderling said with a smile, Humph, if it weren't for that mercenary group, our Green Vine Chamber of Commerce wouldn't be unable to hire a mercenary group. Supervisor Do snorted coldly and looked at Elder Shao who was beside him. This time, the small Zhou Chamber of Commerce has stolen half of our resources. Elder Shao, when should we take action? We can't take action openly. Let's wait until the Blackwater Swamp. That place is more suitable. Elder Shao smiled and looked at Vice Leaderling. As long as you give the order, we can take their dog lives at any time. Vice Leader Ling smiled sinisterly. Okay. When the time comes, I want to see how powerful that 2-star gold mercenary group is. That's great. We'll have to rely on Vice Leaderling then. The Chamber of Commerce drove quickly in an orderly manner. The dark night did not cause them too much trouble. Zhou Han and Jin Lian sat in a carriage to rest, while Wang Xian sat cross-legged in the carriage to cultivate. Father Zhou scanned the surroundings. It was obviously his first time coming out. Leave the few small, ferocious beasts to us. In less than 2 hours, the voices of a few members of the mercenary group came from the front. Many people who were resting were pleasantly surprised. A noisy voice came from the merchant group. Don't worry about the few small, ferocious beasts. At this moment, a voice came from the front. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief and continued to rest. In the wild, one could encounter danger at any time. Due to the long journey, the road was rather flat. If one encountered a few ferocious beasts by chance, they would be quickly dealt with by the mercenary group. Wang Xian and the rest were at the back, so they didn't have to do anything. 10 hours passed quickly, and the sun rose slowly. Rest for half an hour. Feed the horses and eat. Get ready. We are about to reach the Blackwater Swamp. Deputy Leaderling's orders came from the front. As a level 7 extraordinary, he had the ability to command everyone. The Blackwater Swamp area is very dangerous. It is 2 dangerous places on our journey. There is a powerful, ferocious beast, the swamp croc. If we go wrong there, we will easily fall into the swamp. Once we fall into the swamp, it will be very dangerous. Father Zhou said to Wang Xian. He took out some food from his interspatial ring and said, Captain Wang, let's eat together. No need, I brought food. Wang Xian shook his head. Hee. Captain Wang cultivates the wood attribute. Help us to condense a table and chair. Zhou Han and Jin Lian walked out and said to Wang Xian with a smile, All right. Wang Xian nodded his head. With a wave of his arm, the grass on the ground grew rapidly and quickly condensed into a few tables and chairs. Impressive, Leader Wang's control is really strong. Father Zhou gave him a thumbs up. Wang Xian smiled faintly and sat down directly. In other places, there were also people who condensed tables and chairs with the wood attribute. There were also people who condensed tables and chairs with the metal attribute and wood attribute. For extraordinary experts, it was very convenient to eat and rest in the wild. After resting for half an hour, the caravan continued to move forward. Soon, a Blackwater swamp appeared in front of them. The entire boundless region was filled with pools of blackwater. There were all sorts of plants growing on it. The entire region was extremely humid. There were no roads to speak of. The Blackwater swamp covered an extremely large area. The best way to cross this area was to fly in the air. However, the caravan obviously couldn't fly over. Someone was scouting ahead. Moreover, there was a Blackwater imperial crocodile living in the Blackwater swamp. This kind of creature was hidden in the swamp, and its entire body was pitch black. It was very difficult to discover. All mercenary groups send one person over to scout ahead. When they arrived in front of the Blackwater swamp, Deputy Leaderling's voice rang out as he spoke to everyone. Yes. All mercenary groups responded and sent out a member. Wang Xian also gestured to a golden swordfish. All of you scout ahead. You must be careful of the alligator hidden in the swamp. The merchant group entered the Blackwater swamp and continued to move forward on the road with a large carrying capacity. However, their speed was much slower than before. It would take 2 days and 1 night to cross this Blackwater swamp. The caravan traveled for 4 hours without any danger. Roar! Suddenly, a huge creature jumped up from the front. A terrifying 10-meter-long black monster suddenly rushed out of the Blackwater swamp. The Black Shadow's attack was extremely fast and fierce. Its mouth was actually 10 meters long. Before a member of the mercenary group could react, he was killed immediately. An extraordinary level 5D. Go and kill him. Whoever kills him will get his corpse. Let us do it. How dare you kill a member of our mercenary group? I want to avenge my brother. Following that, more than 10 mercenary groups flew over. Boom, boom, boom. The terrifying sounds of collision rang out continuously. Wang Xian stood up from the carriage and looked over. He was about 10 meters tall and was covered in thick, shiny black skin. His huge head was extremely ferocious. It was similar to the sharks on Earth. However, the difference was that there was a huge black horn on the head of this alligator. Its limbs were extremely strong and it had a long, slender tail. Its entire body was filled with a terrifying destructive power. However, under the siege of the members of the mercenary group, huge wounds gradually appeared on the level 5 Overlord Croc. That's a 4-star silver tier mercenary group in Donghai City. Their leader has the strength of a level 6 transcendent. Father Zhou introduced to Wang Xian from the side. Wang Xian nodded, looking at the Overlord Croc. A hint of doubt appeared on his face. The alligator was very strong among the same level. Chapter 953, Expelling. It had a huge body, a pitch-black body, and an earthen yellow belly. The crocodile's attribute was earth. When its huge body struck the ground, it was absolutely terrifying. Roar, roar. However, this extraordinary level 5 crocodile slowly lost its life force under everyone's attacks. Put the crocodile away. Its thick skin can create a lot of inner armor. After killing the crocodile, the leader of the mercenary group kept it into his interspatial ring. Wang Xian scanned through the mercenary groups. Among these mercenary groups, the ones in Donghai City and the ones in Shanghai Town each accounted for about half of them. In comparison, the mercenary groups in Donghai City were obviously much stronger than those in Shanghai Town. As they continued forward, death appeared. This time, everyone was even more cautious. Caw-caw! Caw-caw! After traveling for about 2 hours, everyone was watching their surroundings with tensed minds. Suddenly, loud noises came from the sky. Everyone's expression changed slightly as they hurriedly looked towards the sky. It's rotten crows, it's rotten crows. Damn it, we actually encountered these greedy things. There's a total of more than 200 of them. Unless we kill them, they'll always follow us. The experienced mercenary group's expression instantly turned ugly. Rotten crows liked to devour corrosive creatures. Of course, living creatures were also their targets. In the Blackwater Swamp, there were some places where there was a black-toothed fish. Under normal circumstances, they would feed on the black-toothed fish. However, once the rotten crows encountered humans, they would constantly follow them and wait for an opportunity to make a move. They would only give up when they were full. Oh no, there are more than 200 rotten crows. Their appetite is very big. If we want to feed them, we will need a lot of food. Father Zhou's face was slightly embarrassed as he stared at the rotten crows in the sky with a grave expression. Stop the carriage. All the people in charge of the Chamber of Commerce, come over. A voice came from the center. Father Zhou did not hesitate and walked towards the center. There were a total of 20 chambers of commerce. All the people in charge came to the center. This is troublesome. These damned carrion crows will cause all the chambers of commerce to lose a lot of spirit stones. Zhou Han and Jin Luyan got off the carriage. They frowned as they looked at the carrion crows circling in the sky. What should we do if we encounter such carrion crows? Wang Xian frowned as he looked at the carrion crows with their rotting bodies and blood-red eyes. A hint of disgust flashed across his eyes. There are more than 100 carrion crows at Transcendence, level 5. If we were to engage in a battle, the mercenary groups here would suffer heavy losses. Usually, there is only one way to deal with these carrion crows. Ask each Chamber of Commerce to take out their corpses and feed them. Once they are full, they can last for 2 days. 2 days is enough for us to leave this place. Zhou Hanin said to Wang Xian. Oh. Wang Xian nodded his head. He suddenly felt that he didn't know much about the supernatural continent. It seemed that entering the Demon Hunter Academy this time was the right choice. What? You want me to take out 30% of the corpses of ferocious beasts? Why do you want me to take out so many corpses of ferocious beasts? Suddenly, an angry voice was heard. Zhou Henin's expression changed when she heard this voice. She quickly turned her head and looked over. Just take it out when I tell you to. Without us, how can a small chamber of commerce like yours travel to and from Shanghai town? A resounding and forceful voice was heard. An old man stared coldly at Zhou Henin's father. How dare you bully my father? When Zhou Henin saw this scene, her small face turned red instantly. She ran over angrily. Jin Liuyan's expression changed slightly as well. She quickly chased after her. Wang Xian hesitated for a moment before following her. We formed a team of 20 chambers of commerce. We didn't take any less money. Why do you want me to take out 30% of the corpses of ferocious beasts now? You guys are going too far. Just as he walked over, he saw Father Zhou glaring at the two old men in front of him angrily. Your Zhou Chamber of Commerce obtained 100,000 fierce beast corpses from the mayor of St. C Town this time. It's a great harvest. Of course, you have to pay more. The two old men looked at Father Zhou indifferently and said coldly, What, they got the fierce beasts from the mayor's mansion? No way. In the past, it was the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce and the Shao Chamber of Commerce who got the bigger resources. I didn't expect that this Zhou Chamber of Commerce, which I've never heard of before, actually got so many fierce beast corpses. I heard that the Zhou Chamber of Commerce has only been established for a short period of time, and they were able to obtain hundreds of thousands of corpses of fierce beasts when they were transported to East Sea City. The words of the elder of the Shao Chamber of Commerce instantly caused the eyes of the surrounding people to turn red. Little Zhou, young people do business. If you want to expand your business, you have to make some concessions, since you've obtained so much this time. So what if you take out some fierce beasts, right? Right. I think the Zhou Chamber of Commerce can earn quite a lot even if they feed this group of rotten crows. AI, Brother Zhou, since you have earned so much this time, I think you should take out some. It's not much for you, right? The people in charge of the Chamber of Commerce hurriedly said. Envy and jealousy flashed in their eyes. A trip of several 100,000 spirit stones was also a huge income for their Chamber of Commerce. But not every Chamber of Commerce was as powerful as the Ivy Chamber of Commerce and the Shao Chamber of Commerce. Their annual profit was at most several 100,000 spirit stones. If they were in danger, they might even lose money. You guys... Father Zhou saw that everyone's gazes were all fixed on him, and his expression instantly became unsightly. If he were to take out 30% of the rotten crow's meat, it would be worth at least tens of thousands of middle-grade spirit stones. Originally, each person would only get a few thousand, but now that he was asked to take out all of it, how could he feel good? And the surrounding chambers of commerce were clearly bullying him. But he had no choice but to glare at them angrily. Why are you asking us to take so much? You're bullying us, aren't you? We won't take it, we'll split it equally. Seeing her father's humiliated look, Zhou Henin pointed at them and said angrily, That's right. Why should we pay 30%? It's because the profit is better than yours. Humph! You're simply bullying us. Jin Liuyan also said angrily, Excluding the money of the mercenary group, the profit of our group is only about 100,000 middle-grade spirit stones. You've earned a few 100,000 and are coming with us. This is equivalent to our mercenary group protecting you. Naturally, you'll have more. Before the members of the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce and the Shao Chamber of Commerce could speak, a middle-aged man said irrationally, What kind of nonsense is this? You blame us for having less income. You blame us for having more income than you, and you want us to pay more? Don't even think about it. Zhou Henin was so angry that her body was trembling, and she shouted loudly, It's not like you guys have to pay all of it. That's right, it's not a big loss for you. Chapter 954. Someone is courting death. The people in charge of the surrounding chambers of commerce kept talking to Father Zhou. For a small chamber of commerce to be able to obtain the corpses of 100,000 fierce beasts from the mayor's office made them feel very unfair. Why did you get it? At this time, they were even working together to get the Zhou Chamber of Commerce to take out the corpses of fierce beasts to feed the carrion crows. Only then would they feel more at ease. All right, everyone, quiet down. At this moment, the person in charge of the Ivy Chamber of Commerce waved his hand with a smile on his face, telling them not to speak. The rest of the people in charge of the Chamber of Commerce immediately shut their mouths, waiting for his decision. Little Zhou, right? Since everyone wants your Zhou Chamber of Commerce to give more, then you should give more. Just as President Song said, if you give more, the road in the future will be wider. Your Zhou Chamber of Commerce has just started. It's a good thing to give more. Director Du of the Ivy Chamber of Commerce said with a smile. Father Zhou's face changed when he heard Director Du's words, and he clenched his fists tightly. What if we don't agree? Zhou Han, who was standing at the side, almost exploded in anger as she said angrily, Our entire caravan must unite together. If we don't agree, as long as most of the Chamber of Commerce doesn't agree, you will be eliminated. As soon as Zhou Han finished her words, Elder Xiao of the Xiao Chamber of Commerce said indifferently, Haha, that's right. You have to think carefully. If you are kicked out of the Blackwater Swamp, it will be impossible for you to walk out of here. That's right. President Zhou, you have to think carefully. Your life is more important. Or, hee. Several people in charge of the Chamber of Commerce said mockingly, You guys... Father Zhou's face was extremely ugly. Zhou Han and Jean Liuyan's bodies slightly trembled at their actions. How could there be such a group of people in such a short time? Okay, I'll pay. Father Zhou said in a low voice with an ugly expression. This was simply trying to force them into a desperate situation. Then pay 50% and the rest of the Chamber of Commerce will split it equally. Supervisor Du of the Ivy Chamber of Commerce said faintly, 50%. Previously it was 30%. Now it had increased to 50%. Father Zhou's eyes were slightly red. Let's go. We can leave even if we don't follow the caravan. At this moment, Wang Xian, who was standing at the side, swept his gaze across them coldly and patted Father Zhou's shoulder. This. Father Zhou was stunned as he looked at Wang Xian in astonishment. Zhou Han and Jean Liuyan were also slightly stunned. However, Jean Liuyan followed closely behind with a smile on her face. All right, we'll leave by ourselves. Don't they want to be eliminated? You guys can take care of the beasts yourselves. We'll leave by ourselves. That's right, we'll leave by ourselves. Zhou Han also tugged at her father. Leaving by ourselves? Are you guys courting death? The words of the two girls made the faces of the people in charge of the Chamber of Commerce turn ugly instantly. You don't need to worry about that. You go, we go. Humph. Zhou Hanin snorted and dragged her father to the back. The managers of the Chamber of Commerce looked at each other. Their eyes were wide open and their faces kept changing. The manager of the Chamber of Commerce looked very embarrassed. If the Zhou Chamber of Commerce really went their own way, then wouldn't the beasts feeding the rotten crows be divided among them? Moreover, if there was one less Chamber of Commerce, they would have to share even more. Are you going to die? Supervisor Du of the Ivy Chamber of Commerce and Elder Xiao of the Xiao Chamber of Commerce also slowly looked embarrassed as they stared at them. It's none of your business. If you want us to take out 30% or 50%, don't even think about it. Humph, you go, we go. Zhou Hanin turned her head and mocked them coldly. All right. Supervisor Du stared at them coldly. This damn kid. Elder Zhao's gaze was on Wang Xian. If it wasn't for that kid from the mercenary group, the Zhou Chamber of Commerce would have agreed, even if they were to give them 50%. Hanin, if we leave alone, we will be eaten by the ferocious beasts before we reach Donghai City. Father Zhou looked at his daughter, who was holding his arm, and said with an embarrassed expression, "Dad, with the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group here, don't worry." "Yes, Uncle. Since Commander Wang has spoken, we won't have any problems from now on," the two girls said in succession. A mercenary group that could destroy a transcendent level rank 7 expert, with a transcendent level rank 8 array formation. Speaking of which, with the protection of the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group, it was safer than following them. Are you sure? Without a level 7 supernatural realm expert, it would be hard to return to Donghai City if we are unlucky. Father Zhou's expression changed as he said with a worried expression, "Don't worry, we won't risk our lives either." Wang Xian looked at him and said faintly, "This? All right." Father Zhou gritted his teeth. He could only trust his daughter and Wang Xian. He nodded his head heavily. When they returned to the front of the carriage, Father Zhou explained to the few coachmen. Under their worried expressions, he gritted his teeth and nodded his head. They could only follow the boss's decision. Furthermore, the boss would not joke about his own life. Damn it, that bastard brat. Now that they are separated from us, what should we do next? Supervisor Du of the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce said with an embarrassed expression, "Then we should do it as soon as possible. The sky will turn dark soon. In a few hours, they won't be too far away from us." Elder Xiao also said with a gloomy expression, "What's wrong?" Deputy Commander Ling said with a frown when he saw the two people walking toward them with an unpleasant expression, "The prey wants to leave us and return to the Eastern Sea alone." Supervisor Du said with a sullen face, "Leaving us is simply courting death." Deputy Regiment Commander Ling's eyes were cold as he said, "Let's make a move tonight." Elder Xiao and Supervisor Du whispered to Deputy Regiment Commander Ling, "We can kill them at any time. It's very easy to kill them." Deputy Regiment Commander Ling grinned, his eyes revealing a cold expression. "What? Someone isn't following the caravan? Courting death. Which caravan is courting death? Why aren't they following the caravan in the Blackwater Swamp?" "It's those fellows at the back who are courting death. If they don't follow our Chamber of Commerce, they will soon become the food of the Crocodile Emperor." At this moment, when the mercenary groups heard the words of the person in charge of the Chamber of Commerce, they turned their heads in surprise. When they saw that there were only 20 or so of them, they sneered. "How dare you leave the caravan? Just wait for your death, you bunch of idiots." The leader of the mercenary group, who was in front of the Zhou Chamber of Commerce's carriage, gave Wang Xian and the rest a middle finger in disdain. Initially, they didn't need to be at the back. Now that they needed to be at the back, they were naturally in a bad mood. "If someone wants to die, we don't need to care." A sarcastic reply came from the front. However, when the 7 to 8 mercenary groups from Shanghai town saw Wang Xian and the rest, they were slightly stunned. Their eyes were filled with astonishment. The Immortal Phoenix mercenary group had actually left the group. This was not good news. However, they did not say anything. A portion of the mercenary groups here came from Donghai City. The strength of this group of mercenary groups was much stronger than them. They did not have much say here. They kept silent. Chapter 955. Someone was courting death. "Leader Wang, let's follow them from a distance. It's safer this way." When Father Zhou heard the taunts from the mercenary group in front of him, he revealed an embarrassed expression and said to Wang Xian, "Sure, follow them from 2 to 3 kilometers away." Wang Xian nodded his head nonchalantly. All right. We'll be relying on you guys from now on." Father Zhou nodded his head solemnly. "Commander Wang, We'll have to trouble you guys for the rest of the journey. Our lives are in your hands now." Jean Lian walked over with a smile on her face and said to Wang Xian, "Don't worry. I'll guarantee that you guys will arrive at Donghai City safely." Wang Xian said with a smile on his face, "All right then. When we arrive at Donghai City, we will treat Commander Wang to a meal. Commander Wang, please take good care of us in the future." Jean Lian said with a smile, "I am not familiar with the people and places in Donghai City. Please take good care of me when the time comes." Wang Xian joked with them. After spending 2 days together, they were joking like normal friends. Quack, quack. The carrion crows in the sky came from afar. Father Zhou took a look, and the carrion crows continued to move forward with the caravan. They stopped about 1,000 meters in front of them. It was obvious that they were feeding the carrion carcasses. "Commander Wang, they should be far away. Let's set off too." 5 minutes later, Father Zhou said to Wang Xian, "All right, let's go." Wang Xian nodded. The 21 AO demons immediately spread out within a 1,000-meter radius. Any creature within a 1,000-meter radius would be discovered immediately. Even if there were creatures hiding in the swamp, they would still be discovered. After 4 hours of smooth sailing, the sky gradually turned dark. After 4 hours of smooth driving, Father Zhou and the others let out a sigh of relief. "We are 2 to 3 kilometers behind the caravan. Most of the fierce beasts have been disposed of by them, so it's relatively safer," he said with a smile. "Dad, I got a great deal by hiring the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group this time," Zhou Hanin said proudly. As the sky turned dark, their speed also decreased. At this moment, at a distance of 2 to 3 kilometers, more than 30 mercenary groups were fighting with the Imperial Croc. Among the 5 Imperial Crocs, the largest one was 15 meters in size, exuding a fierce aura. Beside it, there was a part of the corpse of a wildebeest. A transcendent level 6 Imperial Croc suddenly attacked, causing the mercenary group at the front to lose a wildebeest without noticing it. If it wasn't for Vice Leaderling, the loss would have been even greater. Those people from the Zhou Chamber of Commerce are really smart. They followed 2 to 3,000 meters behind us. We opened a safe path for them along the way. The person in charge of the Chamber of Commerce, who was at the back, turned his head to look behind with an embarrassed expression. He then turned his head to look at the mercenary group that was fighting Alligator. "Yes, Supervisor, maybe those guys are safer than us," a middle-aged man said angrily. "Humph." The supervisor of the Chamber of Commerce rolled his eyes and moved toward the center of the group. "Supervisor Du, Elder Xiao, we are risking our lives on the road ahead. But those guys from the Zhou Chamber of Commerce don't need to worry about any danger. This is equivalent to us opening a path for them." The middle-aged supervisor of the Chamber of Commerce walked over and said in a very loud voice, "Huh." Seeing the middle-aged man walk over and say what he said, Supervisor Du and Elder Xiao raised their eyebrows. "Yeah, we are risking our lives to clear the road ahead, but they are just sitting back and enjoying the fruits of our labor." FUCK, the Zhou Chamber of Commerce must have thought of such a situation, so they dare to separate from us. A few people in charge of the Chamber of Commerce who were relatively close to them agreed with a sullen expression. "Then what do you guys think we should do?" Supervisor Du and Elder Xiao looked at each other, raised their eyebrows and asked, "I think, should we?" As the middle-aged supervisor of the Chamber of Commerce said this, a very hot expression appeared on his face. He touched his neck and said, "They have so many fierce beast corpses. Why don't we?" When the surrounding managers saw his hand gesture, their eyes sparkled. They looked at Manager Du and Elder Xiao with interest. "We are a Chamber of Commerce, not thieves. Although this Zhou Chamber of Commerce is immoral, we can't do this. Let's not talk about this anymore." Elder Xiao's expression turned serious as he spoke to the manager. "That's right. Elder Xiao is right. Our chambers of commerce must help each other. Although the Zhou Chamber of Commerce does not know what is good for them, we cannot do such an unrighteous thing. Forget it. Head of the Chamber of Commerce said with a righteous expression. The face of the head of the Chamber of Commerce changed slightly as a trace of admiration surfaced in his heart. Head of the Chamber of Commerce, Elder Shao, I have learned my lesson. I have indeed become a little greedy. Supervisor Du and Elder Shao are really magnanimous. Together with the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce and the Shao Chamber of Commerce, they've also made us feel much more at ease. Yeah, even I was greedy just now. Supervisor Du and Elder Shao are still the righteous ones. No wonder the Chamber of Commerce is stronger than us. The people in charge of the surrounding chambers of commerce hurriedly flattered them. The two of them smiled faintly. However, we can't just be a wedding dress. Just now, they weren't willing to sacrifice that little bit of spirit stones. Now that they're asking us to open a path for them, I feel uncomfortable too. Vice Commander Ling, when we kill the Emperor Crocs, it's best to leave 1 or 2 for them to try. The two of them continued with a smile. We agree on this point. Leave a few Emperor Crocs for them instead of killing them. That's right. We can't let them enjoy the fruits of their labor. I support Supervisor Du and Elder Zhao's actions. I also support not doing what we shouldn't do. But we can't be at a disadvantage either. Everyone looked at Supervisor Du and Elder Shao in admiration. If they agreed to let you destroy the Zhou Chamber of Commerce, then they would definitely give a portion of the items they obtained to you. Now the two of them looked at each other, their eyes filled with cunningness, justice, righteousness. In the face of benefits, what kind of thing was this? Leave them 2 transcendent level 5 Imperial Crocs to play with them. Vice Commander Ling's lips curled up slightly. He waved his arm and directly hit the Imperial crocodiles on the head. The powerful force made his head feel dizzy. He wanted to recover for at least 5 to 6 minutes. Leave them 2 gifts. 2 transcendent level 5 Imperial crocodiles. The other party might be eaten directly. It's a bit of a waste, but it's very satisfying. There's no way we can sit back and enjoy the fruits of our labor. The group of mercenaries laughed out loud. The caravan continued to move forward. In the swamp at the side, 2 alligators were lying on the ground with their heads slightly shaking. The people from the Chamber of Commerce were not good people. Wang Xian's carriage followed behind. When they came to the side of the 2 alligators, a golden swordfish in front immediately waved his hand. What's wrong? Seeing the gesture of a golden swordfish in front, the carriage stopped immediately. Father Zhou's expression changed slightly. What's going on? There's a ferocious beast. Chapter 956. Who was the prey? There's a ferocious beast. When the golden swordfish mentioned that there was a ferocious beast, Father Zhou's expression turned anxious instantly. Jin Lian and Zhou Hanin also stood up hurriedly. Oh! Wang Xian narrowed his eyes slightly. The ferocious beast was not discovered by the golden swordfish. Instead, it was told to the golden swordfish by the strange monsters who were hiding in the surroundings. He stood up and looked ahead with a strange glint in his eyes. As expected, 2 emperor crocodiles that were over 10 meters in size were lying in front of him. Their eyes were extremely red. It was obvious that they were in a state of anger. Once the carriage approached them, the 2 emperor crocodiles would definitely launch a fatal attack. There are marks on their heads. They were left behind to deal with us, right? A hint of coldness flashed across Wang Xian's eyes as the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. But it's perfect. I want to see this Emperor Croc as well. He stood up immediately and flew towards the 2 Emperor Crocs. He said, "Don't worry, they are just 2 extraordinary level 5 Emperor Crocs. There are ferocious beasts following behind the caravan." Father Zhou asked with a look of astonishment. Jin Luyan and Zhou Han stared at Wang Xian curiously. To them, the level 5 extraordinary crocodile was simply a colossus. Their strength was definitely not weak in the East Ocean Academy. With a cultivation of level 3 extraordinary, they could be considered as outstanding students. However, they would definitely be swallowed by the crocodile in one gulp when they were faced with it. They focused their attention on it. They wanted to see how strong Wang Xian was. 2 extraordinary level 5 imperial crocs. They are a little weak. Wang Xian flew over and sized up the imperial crocs that were hiding in the swamp. Roar! When the 2 imperial crocs saw Wang Xian hovering 10 meters above their heads, they immediately became ferocious and leaped up. In the darkness, 2 terrifying monsters that were 10 meters in size attacked Wang Xian, who was in the sky. This scene was extremely shocking to the surrounding people. Whoosh! 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 Wang Xian smiled faintly. The surrounding aquatic plants suddenly flew towards the 2 imperial crocs in a frenzy. With an even faster speed, they landed heavily on the ground. Boom! Boom! A dull sound was heard. Wang Xian moved slightly and stood on the 2 imperial crocs. Dragon's might. Wang Xian stared at the 2 alligators coldly. A terrifying aura was emitted from his body. Submit. The intelligence of ferocious beasts was very low. Basically, they relied on their instincts to fight and hunt. However, no matter how low their intelligence was, they still possessed the intelligence of a 5-year-old child. The powerful aura, along with Wang Xian's terrifying dragon's might, entered their minds directly. The imperial croc was an aquatic creature. Roar! Roar! A series of low, fearful roars could be heard. They wriggled their huge bodies uneasily. Don't move, Wang Xian said coldly. When the 2 imperial crocs heard Wang Xian's words, they didn't dare to move recklessly. Their eyes were filled with fear. Listen to my orders. Otherwise, I will kill you immediately. Wang Xian stood in front of them. A strong killing intent surged from his body. Roar! Roar! The 2 imperial crocs quickly stuck their heads to the ground and placed their tails in the swamp. Get up! Wang Xian asked them to prop up their limbs. Roar! Roar! The 2 imperial crocs got up obediently. They lowered their heads as if they were facing an imperial croc whose level was higher than theirs. Wang Xian smiled in satisfaction. Imperial crocs were aquatic creatures. Although Wang Xian's level was the same as the imperial croc and he could not control them directly, he could still threaten them. It was just like how a high-level imperial croc commanded a low-level imperial croc. This, Father Zhou, Zhou Han, Jin Luyan, and the rest who saw this scene not far away widened their eyes. Even though Jin Luyan had witnessed Wang Xian's terrifying strength, the scene before his eyes still shocked him. 2 gigantic ferocious beasts, which were at extraordinary level 5, were tamed in less than a minute. This was simply unbelievable. You, Captain Wang, you are also a beast tamer? Jin Luyan and Zhou Hanin walked over with sparkling eyes and asked in astonishment. Beast tamer? I guess so. Wang Xian smiled faintly. Impressive, this is simply too impressive. Beast tamers are an extremely rare profession. Moreover, even a powerful beast tamer would need 1 to 2 months to tame an extraordinary level 5 ferocious beast. Jin Luyan widened her eyes and exclaimed in shock. Father Zhou widened his eyes and walked over with a face full of shock and excitement. The caravan in front has stopped. Let's stop and rest for a while. Wang Xian smiled and said to them, All right, it's up to Captain Wang to make the decision. Father Zhou and the rest did not have any objections. The ability to tame 2 extraordinary level 5 ferocious beasts in an instant could definitely allow them to enter Donghai City safely. Light a fire and eat something. We'll have to take the night route. The night route is the most dangerous in the Blackwater Swamp. Father Zhou waved at the workers and said, Vice Commander Ling, Supervisor Diyu, Elder Shao, the people from the Zhou Chamber of Commerce behind us have also stopped. They're more than 3,000 meters away from us. At this moment, in front of them, a huge caravan stopped to rest. A member of the Spirit Beast Mercenary Group walked over and said in a low voice, Looks like that young man's mercenary group isn't simple. The 2 imperial crocodiles didn't affect them at all. Supervisor Du of the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce frowned slightly and said in a low voice, how extraordinary can it be? No matter how powerful they are, they can only deal with a transcendent level 6 powerhouse at most. Elder Shao smiled faintly and didn't seem to mind at all. Holy Sea Town wasn't like East Sea City. There was a ranking list of mercenary groups, and they had only stayed in Holy Sea Town for 2 to 3 days. They didn't know about the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group. However, even if they knew, they might not be afraid. When Wang Xian destroyed the Sword Scar mercenary group, no one saw it. Most people thought that they used powerful weapons or formations to kill a transcendent level 7 Sword Scar. Vice Leader Ling of the Spirit Beast Mercenary Group also had a powerful weapon in his hands. Vice Leader Ling, I'll leave the rest to you. Supervisor Du thought for a moment and smiled as he looked at Vice Leader Ling. Don't worry, leave it to me. Vice Leader Ling smiled confidently. He swept his gaze around and waved at the dozen or so people beside him. Among the 15 people, 2 were at Transcendent Level Rank 6, while the rest were all at Transcendent Level Rank 4 or Rank 5. Let's go and take all their money from the prey. Deputy Leader Ling raised his head slightly and said with a relaxed expression. The members of the Spirit Beast Mercenary Group nodded with a smile. In the eyes of everyone in the Spirit Beast Mercenary Group, all the mercenary groups in Shanghai Town were trash. If they wanted to make a move, the other party was just a small prey. Let's go. Deputy Leader Ling personally led a group of powerhouses and carefully avoided everyone's gaze. They circled around from the side, and after leaving everyone's line of sight, they looked in the direction of Wang Xian and the rest. The corners of their lips curled up slightly. Let the hunt begin. Chapter 957. In the Panic of the Caravan. Leader Wang is really a young hero. Even in East Sea City, the younger generation is considered the top heaven's favorites. In the Blackwater Swamp, Father Zhou passed Wang Xian a piece of roasted ferocious beast meat with a smile on his face as he said in a fawning manner, Heaven's favorites. Wang Xian smiled faintly. When he came to the extraordinary mainland, he was not competing with the heaven's favorites of this world. Instead, he was competing with the overlords of this world. With Leader Wang's strength, he is also very outstanding in the entire Transcendence continent. Jin Lian said to him with a smile on her face. As everyone was eating and chatting, Wang Xian smiled calmly at his praise. Leader, have we surrounded them, or are we going to attack them directly? Of course we're going to attack them directly. Why waste too much time? They won't be able to escape in the Blackwater Swamp. Let's finish them off as soon as possible. In the pitch-black darkness, the members of the Spirit Beast Mercenary Group were floating in mid-air. They stared at a spot 1,000 meters away and said softly, We are already 1,000 meters away. They have yet to realize that this Immortal Phoenix mercenary group is also trash. Deputy Leader Ling looked over with a face full of mockery. He waved his hand and slowly flew toward Wang Xian and the rest. Dragon King. Wang Xian, who was eating, suddenly sensed the message sent by Ao Yao. He was slightly stunned and slowly stood up. Leader Wang, what's wrong? Father Zhou saw Wang Xian suddenly standing up and asked with a face full of surprise. Nothing. I'm taking care of a few pieces of trash. You guys can continue eating. Wang Xian shook his head and walked directly toward the spirit beast mercenary group. Huh. Father Zhou and the rest looked at Wang Xian in astonishment. Trash. We've been discovered. When they were within 1,000 meters of Wang Xian and the rest, an extraordinary level 6 powerhouse saw Wang Xian staring at them coldly. He raised his eyebrows slightly. So what if we've been discovered? Let's get ready then. Deputy Captain Ling smiled and landed on the ground without a care. He took out his weapon from his interspatial ring. The rest of the mercenaries also took out their weapons and walked towards Wang Xian and the rest proudly. It's actually them. What are they here for? Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he looked at the group of people from the spirit beast mercenary group. A hint of coldness appeared on his face. Deputy Leaderling, may I know why you are here? Wang Xian didn't make a move directly. The group of people from the opposite spirit beast mercenary group walked over with a mocking look on their faces. Both parties stopped when they were 100 meters away. Wang Xian looked at them and asked calmly, Haha, it's just a small matter. Deputy Leaderling laughed and sized up Wang Xian, Ao Jian, and the rest with a smile on his face. May I know what's the matter? Wang Xian continued to ask with an expressionless face. It's not a big matter. Deputy Leader Ling grinned. It's just killing all of you. He smiled with a calm expression. It was as if to him, this was an insignificant matter. Oh, Wang Xian nodded with a calm expression. It's indeed not a big deal. Huh. When the people from the spirit beast mercenary group saw Wang Xian's calm expression, a hint of astonishment appeared on their faces. Kid, it seems like you are prepared to die. Vice Leader Ling narrowed his eyes slightly as a terrifying killing intent emanated from his body. He really doesn't know death. Wang Xian said calmly, How can this kid be so calm? An elder from the spirit beast mercenary group saw how calm Wang Xian was and suddenly had a bad premonition. He said softly, Do it. Vice Captain Ling's eyes flickered as he looked at the calm Wang Xian. He no longer tried to act cool. He shouted coldly and gave the order. Uft, uft, uft. The order sounded. However, his order seemed to be a death order. As soon as he finished his sentence, a bone-piercing sound came from beside him. He was very familiar with this sound. It was the same sound when the sharp knife entered the body of the ferocious beast. Buzz. At the same time at this moment he felt a terrifying, murderous aura. Deputy Captain Ling's expression changed drastically. An earthen yellow defense instantly appeared on his body. However, the armor of a transcendent level 7 was easily penetrated like thin paper. He widened his eyes in disbelief as he looked at the sharp claws that penetrated his body. Then he slowly raised his head. I can easily destroy a mercenary group like yours. Wang Xian looked at Vice Leader Ling, who was in disbelief, and said calmly, How? How is this possible? Vice Leader Ling opened his mouth, and a hoarse voice came from his mouth. Wang Xian shook his head slowly. There was no fluctuation in his eyes as he walked over directly. More than 10 corpses. Not bad. Wang Xian said nonchalantly, under Vice Leader Ling's widened eyes. His subordinates were kept into his interspatial ring. How? How is it so strong? How is this possible? Vice Leader Ling couldn't believe the ending before his eyes. A mercenary group from Shanghai town and a mercenary group led by a kid could actually destroy them in an instant. In fact, that kid didn't even make a move. The vision in front of them gradually blurred, and their vitality slowly dissipated. Wang Xian walked over and took off the mercenary group badges on their chests. He looked ahead and revealed a faint smile. Send the badges of these mercenary groups to them later. Wang Xian said to a strange demon, It's the Dragon King. A strange demon nodded, put away all the badges, and disappeared. Wang Xian turned around and left calmly. A dozen people from the Spirit Beast mercenary group wanted to kill them. They were really reckless. Leader Wang, what happened? Father Zhou and the rest asked with concern when they saw Wang Xian return. It's nothing. Some people who are courting death have been dealt with. Wang Xian shook his head lightly. Huh. Father Zhou and the rest were slightly taken aback. Their faces were filled with astonishment. When they saw Wang Xian sitting down and continuing to eat, they hesitated for a moment and did not ask further. Elder Xiao, what's going on? It's been almost 20 minutes. Why is Vice Leader Ling and the rest still not back yet? At this moment, at the position of the merchant group, Supervisor Du frowned and whispered to Elder Xiao. It should be delayed by something. With Vice Commander Ling and the other strength, there shouldn't be any problems. Elder Xiao also frowned and looked behind him from time to time. Supervisor Du, Elder Xiao, it's been half an hour. Should we continue to set off? Another 10 minutes passed. The group of people in charge of the caravan who had rested well asked Supervisor Du and Elder Xiao loudly. Wait a moment, we'll leave immediately. Supervisor Du had a bad premonition in his heart, and he said to them while looking at the back with a burning gaze. So. At this moment, sounds like hidden weapons were heard. Chapter 958. Under the panic of the caravan. Who is it? The sudden voice caused the expressions of all the experts in the caravan to change slightly. They hurriedly looked towards the direction of the hidden weapons. Watch out, be careful! A leader of the mercenary group shouted loudly. Clang, clang, clang. Everyone pulled out their weapons and looked around vigilantly. Bang, bang, bang. At this moment, one metal after another was inserted into the carriage. Everyone quickly looked over. Supervisor Du and Elder Xiao suddenly had a bad premonition. They looked around with an awkward expression and walked towards the carriage. When they just arrived, a member of the mercenary group had already walked over and removed the hidden weapon embedded in the carriage. This Spirit Beast mercenary group? Why is this the Spirit Beast mercenary group's badge? The mercenary group member let out a cry of fear and pulled out one badge after another with a face full of shock. Spirit Beast mercenary group's badge. Supervisor Du and Elder Zhao's expressions changed drastically. Why would the Spirit Beast mercenary group's badge be here? The badge was directly pinned onto the clothes. Even if it was a battle, it would be very difficult for it to fall off. Unless, in an instant, their foreheads were full of cold sweat. The two of them looked at each other and hurriedly walked over. This is Deputy Commander Ling's badge. At this moment, the mercenary group member widened his eyes and said loudly, Deputy Commander Ling's badge. This won't happen. Supervisor Du and Elder Xiao hurriedly walked over and snatched the badge from that person's hand. When they saw the badges one by one, their pupils couldn't help but shrink. The number of badges was the same as the number of experts from the Spirit Beast mercenary group who had just left. What happened? Could it be? Their expressions changed drastically. Oh, right. Where are Vice Commander Ling and the others? Why aren't they here? It's true. Several experts from the Spirit Beast mercenary group have also disappeared. At this moment, the people of the mercenary group and the Chamber of Commerce around them suddenly noticed that Vice Commander Ling and the others had disappeared. Their expressions changed slightly. Those badges. The faces of some people from the Chamber of Commerce slowly turned solemn. They looked at Supervisor Du and Elder Xiao. Obviously, they were hiding something. Supervisor Du, Elder Xiao, Vice Commander Ling, and the others. Finally, a person in charge of the caravan couldn't help but ask. On the way from Holy Sea Town to EC City, their caravan rarely encountered Transcendent Level Rank 7 beasts. But Transcendent Level Rank 6 beasts were definitely not rare. especially for the huge caravan. The caravan could deter some weak beasts from attacking. But as long as it was a beast that dared to attack the caravan, its strength was not weak. Moreover, a huge caravan lacked flexibility. If there were no experts guarding it, it would be safer to travel alone in a small chamber of commerce. However, now that their caravan's transcendent level rank 7 expert was not seen to be dead, it made them somewhat fearful. They had only covered 1/3 of the journey, and the rest of the journey was still very long. Without a transcendent level rank 7 expert, it would be very difficult to reach East Sea City safely. Supervisor Du and Elder Zhao's faces were gloomy and uncertain. The sudden appearance of the badge completely made them panic. Vice Commander Ling and the others might really have met with an accident, and once something happened, their 2 chambers of commerce would be finished. Without the Spirit Beast mercenary group, how could they return to EC City? What worried them the most was who gave them the badge. The Zhou Chamber of Commerce and the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group. Seeing the expressions of Supervisor Du, Elder Shao, and the others, the faces of the people in charge of the Chamber of Commerce slowly turned ugly. They must know what Vice Leader Ling and the others had gone to do. Moreover, the current situation was that something had happened to the other party. Supervisor Du, Elder Shao, say something. What should we do now? A person in charge of the Chamber of Commerce asked with a gloomy face. All the people in the caravan were staring at them, their faces extremely ugly. They're still 2/3 of the way back. Do we have to go back? Supervisor Du looked at Elder Shao with a gloomy face and asked in a low voice. Go back? How can we go back? We have already traveled 1/3 of the way back. If we go back, when can we go back to East Sea City? How much will we lose this time? Our Chamber of Commerce can't afford to lose. That's right. Even if we go back, we'll issue a mission in Holy Sea Town and have the powerful mercenary group of EC City pick us up. The commission will be even higher. Before Elder Shao could speak, the people in charge of the Chamber of Commerce who heard this immediately said loudly. This caused Supervisor Du and Elder Zhao's expressions to instantly turn ugly. But right now, we don't have any transcendent level rank 7 experts to hold down the fort. If we continue moving forward, such a huge team will encounter 5 or 6 transcendent level rank 6 beasts. It will be extremely troublesome. Another person in charge of the Chamber of Commerce said loudly with an embarrassed expression. They all stared at Supervisor Du and Elder Shao, their eyes flickering. With this huge Chamber of Commerce joining forces, as the organizer, the Ivy Chamber of Commerce and the Shao Chamber of Commerce would receive huge benefits. Otherwise, they wouldn't have needed to hire a powerful mercenary group to move forward with them. Now that the Spirit Beast mercenary group was in trouble, they were also in trouble. What angered them the most was that Supervisor Du and Elder Shao had obviously hidden something from them. Continue moving forward. We will return all of your spirit stones to you. Supervisor Du and Elder Shao said with extremely unsightly expressions. Our mercenary group doesn't care about your matters. However, because of your situation, this mission has become extremely difficult. If you don't give us a satisfactory answer, we have the right to reject your mission. However, just as they finished speaking, a mercenary group leader walked out and swept his gaze across all the chambers of commerce. That's right, the difficulty of this mission has more than doubled. If we reach East Sea Town, there is a very high chance of death. We will quit this mission. There is another way. Each chamber of commerce will leave alone. The smaller the number of people, the less danger there will be. Another 2 mercenary groups spoke up. Because of the person who issued the mission, the difficulty of their mission had more than doubled. They had the right to terminate the mission and receive a part of the compensation. In the current situation, if they continued to move forward, it would be extremely dangerous for the mercenary groups. Moving alone, although the danger was still great, it was much lower. Supervisor Du and Elder Shao trembled when they heard the words of the mercenary group. Whether it was ending the mission or acting alone, it would put them in a desperate situation. "No," they quickly exclaimed. "This is not up to you." A mercenary group stared at them coldly. "We are willing to give you a satisfactory reward. The caravan will continue moving forward." The two people clenched their teeth and growled in a low voice. This time they simply lost a lot. Chapter 959. Sea Monster. What a huge loss! What a huge loss! The caravan continued to move forward. Supervisor Du and Elder Zhao's bodies were trembling, and their faces were extremely unsightly. All the mercenary groups present had their commissions doubled, and the extra money was all from the Ivy and Shao Chambers of Commerce. With this sum of spirit stones, they would lose at least 1,000,000 middle-grade spirit stones on this trip. After all, the price of a mercenary group was not low. It would be better to follow the caravan from Holy See Town to East Sea City, but to hire a mercenary group with an extraordinary 5th rank expert, it would cost 50,000 to 100,000 spirit stones. After all, following the caravan was very low risk. But if they didn't follow the caravan and hired a mercenary group, it would cost at least 300,000 to 500,000 middle-grade spirit stones. Now, the death of the transcendent rank 7 experts in the caravan had placed all the risk on the other mercenary groups. The commission would be doubled. This time, their profit was only 1,000,000 middle-grade spirit stones. It wasn't enough to compensate them. Moreover, such a business wasn't common. It would only appear when the monsters attacked the city. Normally, it would be considered good if the profit was 100,000 middle-grade spirit stones. However, they had no other choice. They no longer had a mercenary group. It was simply wishful thinking for them to reach the East China Sea by themselves. I didn't expect there to be such a powerful formation in this interspatial ring. At this moment, Wang Xian and the rest continued to move forward. He sat on the carriage and flipped through the items in the interspatial ring. A smile appeared on his face. Spirit Explosion Formation. One-time extraordinary level 8 formation. Trapping the opponent in the formation and causing the formation to explode in an instant, it could unleash a terrifying attack of an extraordinary level 8 divine ability. If caught off guard, even an extraordinary level 8 powerhouse would be killed. This one-time formation was worth quite a lot. It was worth at least tens of millions of middle-grade spirit stones. Apart from this formation, the elixirs and various resources inside were also worth millions of middle-grade spirit stones. An extraordinary level 7 powerhouse was still very rich. Wang Xian looked at the alligator king beside him and revealed a thoughtful expression. It's a pity that this alligator king is not a demonic beast. Its intelligence is too low. Otherwise, I could have subdued some of them and used them as a mount. It would be too troublesome to nurture them again. Wang Xian thought to himself. They continued forward. After driving for 2 hours, Wang Xian and the rest had already caught up with the caravan in front. However, they did not meet the caravan. Instead, they staggered from one side to the other. The entire caravan was slowed down because there were no transcendent level 7 experts guarding it. The speed of Wang Xian and the rest had increased a little. The carriage was moving at a fast speed. With the strange monsters around, it was much safer along the way. Some weak imperial crocodiles were killed directly. After more than 20 hours, they successfully walked out of the Blackwater Swamp area. This made Father Zhou and the rest heave a sigh of relief. Their faces were filled with joy. The journey for the next 2 days is relatively safe. We only need to climb over the Wind Arrow Mountain to reach Donghai City safely. Father Zhou said to Wang Xian with a smile. Wind Arrow Mountain. Wang Xian nodded his head, silently. Wind Arrow Mountain was a mountain range that was connected to the ocean. The entire mountain range was like a bow and arrow, Hence, it was called Wind Arrow Mountain. The most dangerous thing in Wind Arrow Mountain was not the ferocious beasts, but the demonic beasts that lived there. Demonic beasts that were as intelligent as humans. It would be fine if they did not encounter demonic beasts. However, it would be troublesome if they did. In the next 2 days, just as Father Zhou said, they did not encounter any danger along the way. The Wind Arrow Mountain is ahead. 2 days later, Father Zhou pointed ahead and said to them. Wang Xian looked ahead and flew straight into the sky. The place that I can see looks like a bow and arrow. Wang Xian swept his gaze across and returned to the carriage. The ferocious beasts in the Wind Arrow Mountain are all different types of ferocious beasts in the ocean. Any kind of ferocious beast can appear. These ferocious beasts are not a threat. The ones that pose a greater threat are the demonic beasts here. Demonic beasts have intelligence. They know how to cultivate. Medicinal pills are also very useful to them. There are greedy demonic beasts controlling the ferocious beasts to attack the merchants passing by. If their strength is weaker, it would be difficult for them to escape. To a certain extent, the Wind Arrow Mountain is even more dangerous than the Blackwater Swamp. Father Zhou looked ahead and said to Wang Xian. Wang Xian nodded his head. The path to the Wind Arrow Mountain was also very difficult. They had to cross over the mountain ridges. Let's go! Everyone got off the carriage and escorted the items in the carriage to prevent them from falling off. Wang Xian walked at the front and scanned his surroundings. The area beside him was filled with seawater. Some of the seawater flowed down like a waterfall. The entire area looked very beautiful. Wang Xian and the rest slowed down completely as they climbed over the mountain peaks. Fortunately, there were no other trees on the mountain peaks except for the craggy rocks. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to pass through this road. Dragon King, there's a ferocious beast lying in ambush ahead. There's a sea monster. After traveling for 3 hours and climbing over hundreds of mountain peaks, Ao Yao's voice suddenly reached Wang Xian's ears. He raised his eyebrows, moved his body, and flew forward rapidly. Behind their mountain peak, there were hundreds of ferocious beasts with 6 huge legs that looked like crabs lying densely on one side of the mountain peak. Their rock-like color was a complete cover. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he looked at the bottom of the mountain peak. There was a small pit. It didn't look very deep. A snow-white creature was hidden inside. Its intelligent eyes seemed to be waiting for the arrival of its prey. When Wang Xian looked over, his eyes met with the creature's. The naked eye of an ordinary cultivator wouldn't be able to see if there was a creature hidden in the small pit. However, Wang Xian had the eye technique. In his line of sight, the 3-meter-tall creature that was staring at Wang Xian suddenly squinted its eyes. Wang Xian moved his body and flew directly into the small pit. It was the first time he had seen a demonic beast. Gulp! However, to Wang Xian's surprise, the sea demon moved its body and disappeared from the pit. What's this? Wang Xian looked over and realized that there was actually a hole in the small pit. Such high intelligence. If it senses danger, it can escape from here in an instant. Even a transcendent level 9 powerhouse wouldn't be able to stop it. Wang Xian was a little surprised. Crack, 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 crack. When the ghost-faced crabs that were being controlled saw Wang Xian, they attacked him directly. This group of ghost-faced crabs were all at Transcendent Level 4 and Level 5. They looked extremely ferocious. Without the demonic beast controlling them, they attacked Wang Xian crazily. As they didn't have high intelligence, they didn't sense any danger from Wang Xian at all. There are more than 300 of them, and they are still worth some spirit stones. Wang Xian smiled. With a wave of his arm, a large area of flames covered the area. Chapter 960. The Terrifying Freshman. Boom! Boom! When the Zhou Chamber of Commerce's carriage arrived, Wang Xian had already killed over 300 ghost-faced crabs. Hiss! Even though they had witnessed Wang Xian's strength, When they saw the 2 to 3 meters long, ghost-faced crabs at the bottom of the mountain peak, they were shocked. This was especially so for Zhou Han and Jin Luyan. There were more than 300 ghost-faced crabs. The weakest among them was at level 4 extraordinary. Any one of them could easily kill the two of them. However, he only used a few minutes just now. When Dao Hen was killed back then, it's very likely that he didn't rely on any treasures. If that's the case, this is too terrifying. Jin Luyan's eyes were sparkling as she stared at Wang Xian. She was slightly lost in her thoughts. Such a rare prodigy would definitely be famous across the continent in the future. The ghost-faced crab is a ferocious beast unique to Wind Arrow Mountain. It is also the most popular delicacy. The value of the ghost-faced crab far surpasses that of an ordinary ferocious beast. Father Zhou said with a twinkle in his eyes. Is that so? Wang Xian's figure moved and landed at the foot of the mountain peak. Let's take a break. It's a good time to taste this ghost-faced crab. Sure, everyone said with smiles on their faces. After witnessing Wang Xian's terrifying strength, they felt that it was very safe to stay in the wild. They were totally in the mood to taste the delicacies. The workers' faces lit up as well. With their status, they could never afford to eat such precious, ferocious beast meat. Come, let me make it for you. Father Zhou rolled up his sleeves and walked over with a smile on his face. Wang Xian nodded and took a rest at the side. The two girls also walked down cheerfully and helped to deal with the ghost-faced crabs one by one. Hurry up, we are in a hurry. At this moment, the caravan behind them had also arrived at Wind Arrow Mountain. Compared to a few days ago, everyone in the caravan was in a sorry state. The dozen of people walking at the front were a completely unfamiliar mercenary group. They wore gorgeous armor and looked extraordinary. At the back, one of the original 19 chambers of commerce was missing. Of the 300 or so mercenary groups, more than 30 were killed or injured, making everyone's faces extremely gloomy. Their luck wasn't very good. They encountered the attacks of more than 100 fierce beasts midway, 8 of which were at transcendent level, rank 6. When that group of fierce beasts appeared, in an instant, more than 30 of them died in the battle. More than a dozen people from the Chamber of Commerce at the front were directly eaten by the fierce beasts. At the moment when everyone was in despair, fortunately a group of people appeared. A group of 13 people. 1 was at Transcendent Level Rank 8, 3 were at Transcendent Level Rank 7, and 9 were at Transcendent Level Rank 6. The appearance of the 13 people instantly destroyed a group of fierce beasts. Under their pleas, the other party was willing to send them back to EC City. What made them most excited was that the other party actually didn't take their spirit stones. Yes. The group of people from the Chamber of Commerce and the mercenary group hurriedly nodded. Who are they? Their strength is so terrifying. Judging from their clothes, they are either from the Demon Hunters mercenary group or the Demon Hunters Academy. They are definitely top-tier existences in EC City. They are so powerful that they can sweep across our holy sea town. Behind them, some mercenary groups were discussing in low voices as they sped up and followed behind them. If they were in their place, they wouldn't dare to travel at such a fast speed in Wind Arrow Mountain. They were simply courting death. However, with so many experts around, they didn't have any scruples. There are people in front. The 13 people at the front lightly jumped onto another mountain peak and scanned their surroundings vigilantly. After an hour, when they jumped onto a mountain peak, they suddenly found more than 20 people sitting not far ahead. They actually ate ghost-face crabs here. They have some strength. A middle-aged man standing on the left licked his tongue and said with a smile, Hee, send them out of Wind Arrow Mountain and we'll leave as soon as possible. We have to finish that mission as soon as possible. The new students will enter the school soon. An old man smiled and said while glancing at them, Okay, but I see that there are a lot of ghost-face crabs there. Get a few and we'll eat them on the way. The middle-aged man smiled, and the group quickly flew over. The merchant group behind them also rushed over. Everyone, are there any more ghost-faced crabs? Let's buy 2. The group landed in front of Wang Xian and the rest. The middle-aged man smiled as he swept his gaze across the 2 giant, ghost-faced crabs that were being produced. Father, Zhou turned his head and looked at the dozen of them. Following that, he looked at the few hundred people who had rushed over. A caravan. He was stunned for a moment before his face darkened. It's them. The people from the Zhou Chamber of Commerce. I didn't expect that they were not eaten by the ferocious beasts. They even caught ghost-faced crabs to cook here. How leisurely. Behind them, the people from the Zhou Chamber of Commerce looked embarrassed when they saw the people from the Zhou Chamber of Commerce. They had almost died in the wilderness, but this group of people actually had good food and drinks. This made them filled with jealousy. The Zhou Chamber of Commerce. Supervisor Du and Elder Xiao looked at Wang Xian and the rest with an embarrassed expression. That night, they found an excuse to hide the reason for the disappearance of the group of experts from the Spirit Beast Mercenary Group. The others didn't know that the Spirit Beast Mercenary Group disappeared because they were hunting the Zhou Chamber of Commerce. When they saw the Zhou Chamber of Commerce again, a strong killing intent flashed in their eyes. If it wasn't for the Zhou Chamber of Commerce, they wouldn't have suffered such a heavy loss. Elder Zhao's face was gloomy. His eyes moved, and he suddenly walked forward. My lords, if you want the ghost-faced crab, we will buy it for you. As he spoke, he walked towards Wang Xian and the rest. Sell the ghost-faced crab to us. You can name your price as you wish. The 13 people standing in front of Elder Xiao didn't say anything when they saw him flattering them. However, when Elder Xiao walked over, Father Zhou, Zhou Han, Jin Lian, and the rest had ugly expressions on their faces. Wang Xian also looked at him mockingly. His gaze then swept across the dozen people at the front. Sensing the powerful energy contained within their bodies, Wang Xian didn't pay too much attention to it. Scram! He glanced at Elder Xiao coldly. The assassination attempt by the Spirit Beast Mercenary Group that night definitely had something to do with this old man. He didn't have a good impression of this group of chambers of commerce and mercenary groups. You, Elder Xiao glared at him. Instead, a hint of a smile flashed across his face. Kid, why are you so arrogant? It's your honor that our Lord wants to buy some of your ghost-face crabs. Don't be ungrateful. We just want to buy some of your stuff. If you don't want to sell it, then don't sell it. Are you asking us to scram? Kid, you're too arrogant. At this moment, the cold voices of a few mercenary groups came from behind instantly. More than 10 burly middle-aged men held their weapons and immediately came over. The 13 people who were standing in front also raised their eyebrows and looked at Wang Xian with some displeasure. A kid, he's a little arrogant. Chapter 961. A terrifying new student. The 13 people in luxurious armor stared at Wang Xian with displeasure. Their faces gradually darkened, especially the middle-aged man on the left. He raised his eyebrows coldly. With their status, and strength, who wouldn't give them face in Donghai City? The kid in front of them actually told them to scram. No matter how good their tempers were, they still looked at this young man with dissatisfaction. Hee, don't challenge my patience. Scram! When Wang Xian saw that more than 10 members of the mercenary group dared to surround him, a hint of coldness flashed across his eyes. Kid, you're really arrogant. The corner of the middle-aged man's mouth curled up slightly. A playful look appeared on his face as he slowly walked toward Wang Xian. Wang Xian looked at the middle-aged man. His silver-white armor shone brightly under the sunlight. There was a black light character on his chest. He raised his head slightly and looked at the middle-aged man. Wang Xian looked at the middle-aged man and smiled. He stood up with a smile on his face. What? I'm going to educate you. The middle-aged man chuckled. His body suddenly moved and transformed into numerous shadows. He attacked Wang Xian at a terrifying speed. Seeing this scene, a ferocious look flashed across Elder Zhao's eyes. He lowered his head slowly, and his face gradually turned ferocious. "With just you." Wang Xian saw the middle-aged man's figure, and a mocking look appeared on his face. He moved his arm. Boom! Scorching flames instantly covered his arm. His entire arm turned into 2 to 3 meters in size. The middle-aged man's body was instantly grabbed by Wang Xian. The terrifying flames caused his expression to change drastically. The middle-aged man widened his eyes as he looked at the palm that was grabbing onto him. His eyes revealed a look of horror. The faces of the 12 middle-aged men behind him changed slightly. "Stop!" The green-armored old man who was standing at the front had a solemn expression. His body moved and appeared in front of Wang Xian in an instant. A terrifying aura came over. The terrifying pressure caused the expressions of everyone around to change drastically. "Let go!" The green-armored elder stared at Wang Xian coldly as he spoke in a deep voice. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at the elder. He said coldly, "It seems like all of you want to die here." "Huh." The green-armored elder's expression changed slightly as he stared at Wang Xian with a burning gaze. "What an arrogant brat. He wants all of us to die here. Ha ha. Then let us see if you have the qualifications to speak to us like this." Another white-haired old man grunted angrily and came to the side of the green-armored old man. A strong, murderous aura emanated from his body. The other 10 men also emitted a terrifying pressure and surrounded Wang Xian and the rest. "You're courting death. You're really courting death. Kill this bastard brat." He spoke rudely and arrogantly. "He's courting death. How dare he provoke a bunch of adults?" Behind them, a group of people from the Chamber of Commerce and the mercenary group stared at Wang Xian and the rest coldly. Their eyes were filled with both shock and anger as they shouted loudly from behind. One of their hands grabbed onto the body of an expert. This strength was a little terrifying. The strength of this group of people is not lower than level 6 of the Extraordinaire. For that brat to be able to capture one of them so easily, his strength is not weaker than level 7 of the Extraordinaire. No wonder he was able to kill Deputy Captain Ling and the rest. Elder Xiao and Supervisor Du's expressions changed. However, since he dared to provoke this group of powerhouses, he's simply courting death. Such an ungrateful kid. Sir, teach them a good lesson. The 2 of them echoed as they spoke to the green-armored elder and the rest. A bunch of scoundrels. Not long ago, I let all of you off. This time it won't be as simple as that. Wang Xian's gaze swept across the group of people who were shouting arrogantly behind him. His eyes revealed a cold expression. "If we have anything to say, we can talk it out." When Father Zhou saw this situation, his forehead was filled with cold sweat. He hurriedly spoke loudly. However, everyone ignored him. A terrifying aura slowly condensed from Wang Xian's body. A murderous aura condensed as the strength and flames in his hands slowly rose. The face of the middle-aged man who was held by Wang Xian changed drastically. He felt that the other party could kill him at any time. "Wait." At this moment, a panicked voice was heard. A figure hurriedly ran to the center of Wang Xian and the group of people in front of him. He looked at the group of the green-armored elder, and his gaze landed on the only woman among them. The woman had short hair and exuded a vigorous aura. She held a short sword in her hand and looked valiant and valiant. "Teacher Bai Wen, it's a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding." Jean Lian quickly shouted at the woman. "Huh." The woman holding the short sword was slightly stunned. She raised her eyebrows and looked at Jean Lian. "Who are you?" "I'm a student of the East Ocean Academy. Teacher Bai Wen, I know you." Jean Lian said hurriedly and looked at Wang Xian. Wang Xian was slightly puzzled, and the strength in his hand loosened a little. A student of the East Ocean Academy? Who is he to you? The old man in green armor asked Jean Lian with a sullen face. Jean Lian looked at the woman and then at Wang Xian. She said bitterly, Captain Wang Baiwen is a teacher of the Demon Hunters Academy. Huh. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows. A teacher of the Demon Hunters Academy. This was a little troublesome. He had not even enrolled in the academy yet and had already offended a teacher. It was not a good thing. Young lady, what are you trying to say? Baiwen looked at Jean Lian and asked with a frown. This teacher, Baiwen, Commander Wang, is a new student of the Demon Hunters Academy. You are a teacher of the Demon Hunters Academy. We are all on the same side. Don't make such a fuss. Jean Lian said bitterly. However, when Baiwen heard Jean Lian's words, he widened his eyes and looked at Wang Xian in disbelief. Even the rest of them had a slight change in expression as they stared at Wang Xian in unison. It is even more unforgivable for a subordinate to offend his superior. What right does such a person have to enter the Demon Hunters Academy? However, Elder Zhao's anxious voice was heard from behind. He had created such a situation with great difficulty. Now that both parties were involved, how could he let them be so kind? Shut up, HMPH. All of you are not good people. Jean Lian heard Elder Zhao shout and shouted at him angrily. Cough, cough. I'm also a teacher of the Demon Hunters Academy. The middle-aged man who was caught by Wang Xian coughed with a flushed face and said in a low voice. Jean Lian was stunned. She turned her head around in astonishment. The corner of Wang Xian's mouth twitched. He looked at the instructor of the Demon Hunters Academy, who was caught by him. I am the vice principal of the Demon Hunters Academy. At this moment, the voice of the green-armored old man was heard. He kept the long saber in his hand back into his interspatial ring. He sized up Wang Xian with a surprised and weird expression. I am the dean of the order department of the Demon Hunters Academy. The white-haired old man said in a deep voice with a twinkle in his eyes. Jean Lian, Zhou Hanin, Father Zhou, and even Wang Xian and the rest were dumbfounded. They had already started a fight with the higher-ups of the academy before the start of the semester. Chapter 962. The young man was not bad. The atmosphere was a little quiet. Even the people from the Chamber of Commerce and the mercenary group behind were dumbfounded. What the hell was going on? That young man was a new student of the Demon Hunter College, and this group of people were the higher-ups of the Demon Hunter College. They were in a standoff now. What the hell? Wang Xian did not expect this group of people to be the higher-ups of the Demon Hunter College. He thought that they were the mercenary group hired by the Ivy and Zhou Chamber of Commerce. Therefore, he didn't have a good impression of them. However, he didn't expect them to be the higher-ups of the Demon Hunter College. They hadn't even entered the college yet and were already fighting with the higher-ups of the college. How were they supposed to continue their studies? Wang Xian was a little embarrassed. He had sensed the strength of this group of people just now. The green-armored elder was at level 8, while the rest were at level 7 and level 6. The lowest level was level 6. However, with his strength and the strength of the strange demon, he wasn't afraid of them at all. That was why he didn't hold back at all. However, he didn't expect that. This teacher, I'm sorry. Wang Xian moved his palm slightly and placed the middle-aged man down. It was really a sin to accidentally torture a teacher. The expression on the middle-aged man's face was also very interesting. His body moved, and he immediately came to the side of the green-armored old man. Are you really a new student of the Demon Hunter College? The green-armored old man asked in astonishment when he saw Wang Xian let go of the middle-aged man. Yes. Wang Xian moved his palm, and a notice of admission for the Demon Hunter College appeared in his hand. Are you a new student? The white-haired old man beside him still found it unbelievable and couldn't help but ask. Yes. Wang Xian nodded his head. This time, the expressions of the group of people became even more interesting. A new student was able to pinch an elite instructor of the academy with one hand. His strength was at least at level 7 of the supernatural realm. Just now they were still bewildered. Where did this monstrous young man come from? He actually possessed such terrifying strength. But never did they expect that in the blink of an eye, he would become a new student of their academy. I never thought that our academy would actually have such a terrifying new student. It's really... The azure-armored old man didn't know what to say. To the Demon Hunter Academy, having a monstrous new student within the academy was definitely a joyous occasion. But the situation before their eyes... The young man's strength is very strong, but being young and frivolous is also a good thing. But you can't go too far, or else you might suffer a loss. The green-armored old man really wanted to say that young people shouldn't be too arrogant, but after thinking about it, he changed his words. Such a monstrous young man. Wasn't it normal for him to be arrogant? Especially since he was a student of their Demon Hunter Academy. He should be confident and arrogant. Dean, there might be a misunderstanding between us. We were originally in the same caravan as them, but they threatened us, asking us to take out more resources. We had no choice but to leave their caravan. Jean Luyen said immediately. That's right, Director. Commander Wang and the rest were hired by us. We thought that you were in cahoots with them. That's why we were so rude to you when we met just now. Zhou Henin also walked out and said to the green-armored elder. Oh, I see. The green-armored elder pondered for a moment and nodded slowly. Since it's a misunderstanding, let's not be so hostile. I'm sorry, Director. It might really be a misunderstanding. Wang Xian nodded as well. With a move of his arm, a corpse was thrown from his interspatial ring to Supervisor Du and Elder Shao. Peng, the deputy leader of the Spirit Beast mercenary group, was sent by you guys to kill us, right? Wang Xian swept his cold gaze across the two of them. Hiss, it's Deputy Leader Ling's corpse. How could it be? Why would Deputy Leader Ling's corpse be with them? Could it be that the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce and the Shao Chamber of Commerce sent Vice Leader Ling to assassinate the Zhou Chamber of Commerce? It must be, for the fierce beast corpse on the body of the Zhou Chamber of Commerce. I didn't expect it. I really didn't expect it. Elder Shao and Supervisor Du's pupils couldn't help but shrink when they saw the corpse. The people of the Chamber of Commerce and the mercenary group behind all widened their eyes and discussed with gloomy faces. They finally understood that the reason why the Ivy and Shao Chamber of Commerce didn't allow them to hijack the Zhou Chamber of Commerce was because they wanted to do it themselves and obtain the money. It wasn't a righteous act at all. Crafty, really crafty. What? The people from the Spirit Beast mercenary group came to assassinate us? Father Zhou and the rest were also slightly stunned. Their faces revealed an embarrassed expression. They were trying to exterminate all of them. If it wasn't for Wang Xian, they would definitely be dead by now. The green-armored elder finally understood from the discussion of the people behind him. His face immediately darkened. They were being used. He didn't expect them to be used. They saved a bunch of people who shouldn't be saved. Wang Xian took a deep look at Supervisor Du and Elder Shao. Then he swept his gaze across all the people from the Chamber of Commerce and the mercenary group. Vice Principal, dear teachers, we can be considered to have gotten to know each other without fighting. It was my student who was reckless just now. I can only take out some food to apologize. Following that, Wang Xian took out 3 ghost-faced crabs with a smile and said to them, Haha, good. I really didn't expect that our East Sea Demon Hunters Academy would produce such a monstrous new student. The green-armored elder laughed and waved his hand. Everyone walked over and said, This is a slap in the face. However, we are very happy to see such a prodigy enter our Demon Hunters Academy. Are the students nowadays so terrifying? The middle-aged man who was held by Wang Xian shook his head bitterly. That's right. He's already qualified to be a teacher in our academy. A few middle-aged elders beside him nodded their heads in agreement. A new student who possessed the strength of a violent teacher was so freakish that he was the only one in the Demon Hunters Academy. However, the appearance of such a student was also of great benefit to the entire academy. Come, teachers and principals, let us cook for you. He. Father Zhou was excited when he saw this scene. He quickly prepared himself. Wang Xian invited them to sit down and started a conversation with them. The teachers and vice principals of the Demon Hunters Academy were extremely curious about Wang Xian. They kept asking him all sorts of questions. The vice principals even invited Wang Xian to join the East Ocean Demon Hunters Academy after he graduated. Not only that, they even offered him a lot of benefits when the school was about to start. The deputy dean even waved his hand and gave Wang Xian a house that was close to the Demon Hunters Academy. They wanted to recruit Wang Xian. Such a young and terrifying student, they naturally wanted to recruit him. After witnessing his strength, it could no longer be described as a genius. Now, with Wang Xian's strength, he could be considered as a powerhouse that could intimidate an entire region. It was definitely worth it to befriend such a powerhouse with unlimited potential. Chapter 963, A Heavy Price to Pay. The green-armored old man had the surname of Xia. He was the deputy dean of the Demon Hunter College, an expert at Transcendent Level 8. Jin Lian and Zhou Henin, who were at the side, widened their eyes when they heard the conversation between Dean Xia and Wang Xian. To a freshman who had yet to enroll in the Demon Hunter College, who wanted him to stay in the college after graduation. The college would gift him a house directly. He could even come to the college directly if he needed anything. Each of these conditions was something that all the students of the Demon Hunters Academy yearned for. Which student of the Demon Hunters Academy didn't wish to stay in the academy and enjoy an extremely high salary, social status, and background? However, the vice dean of the academy had promised these conditions to a new student. If others were to find out, they would definitely be envious. However, with Wang Xian's talent, strength, and potential, he was definitely qualified to enjoy these resources. At the side, everyone in the merchant caravan who saw this scene had shocked expressions on their faces. They stared at this scene with their mouths agape. Elder Xiao and Supervisor Du's expressions were even more embarrassed and desperate. They stood at the side, nervously. Their expressions kept changing, and they were filled with worry. Student Wang Xian, we still have an urgent mission to complete. We won't disturb you anymore. The Demon Hunters Academy will officially start its semester in 2 days. I'll bring you to meet the other higher-ups of our academy. Vice President Xia said to Wang Xian. All right, see you then. Wang Xian nodded with a smile. Then we'll take our leave first. Vice Principal Xia and the rest stood up and cupped their fists at Wang Xian. With this attitude, they didn't treat Wang Xian as a student of the Demon Hunters Academy. After all, Wang Xian was too strong. They didn't dare to raise their status, especially the middle-aged instructor who was controlled by Wang Xian. His face was filled with bitterness. Being beaten up by a student, he was the first in the Demon Hunters Academy. Goodbye. Wang Xian smiled and waved his hand. Vice Principal Xia and the other 13 people moved and flew towards the back. When the members of the caravan saw them leaving, their expressions changed drastically. My lords, without you guys, how are we going to go back? An old man shouted at them in panic. However, Vice Principal Xia did not pay any attention to them. What should we do? In an instant, everyone was terrified. With their abilities, it was extremely difficult for them to cross the Wind Arrow Mountain. If it was like the last time, all of them would die here. Elder Shao, Supervisor Du, please give us an explanation. At this moment, Wang Xian's voice rang out. Everyone looked at Wang Xian, who was sitting there and calmly tasting the ghost-faced crab meat. In the end, everyone's gaze was focused on the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce and the Shao Family Chamber of Commerce. Elder Shao and Supervisor Du's expressions changed drastically. They lowered their heads slowly and did not speak. Green Vine Chamber of Commerce, Shao Family Chamber of Commerce, you guys are really cunning and cunning. You actually ordered the Spirit Beast Mercenary Group to assassinate the Zhou Family Chamber of Commerce. You want to murder them for money. Now, hurry up and compensate them. That's right. Elder Shao, Supervisor Du, I didn't expect you guys to do such a thing. Leader Wang, what they did has nothing to do with us. We're willing to give you guys a sum of money. We hope that you guys can bring us along. We will use all the resources that the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce and the Shao Chamber of Commerce sent this time to make up for their mistakes. Leader Wang, please let us follow you guys. The people in charge of the Chamber of Commerce suddenly spoke up. They looked at old Shao and old Du in disgust as they tried to curry favor with Wang Xian. You bunch of bastards. Upon hearing the words of the members of the Chamber of Commerce around them, Manager Du and old Shao glared at them angrily and shouted loudly. Manager Du, old Shao, you guys better shut up. If it wasn't for you guys, we would have been able to get to this stage. You guys are cunning and vicious. Humph. People like you guys should be thrown into the wilderness. That's right. A perfectly fine caravan almost killed all of us because of you. The group of people in charge of the Chamber of Commerce said sharply, You still dare to talk about me? Who is the one who said that we should kill the Zhou Chamber of Commerce and take them away? You'd better shut up. We aren't as despicable as you to send the Spirit Beast Mercenary Group to assassinate them. In the end, it was fortunate that Commander Wang was here. Otherwise, you bunch of scoundrels would have succeeded. All of you. Supervisor Du and Elder Zhao's bodies trembled as they argued with the people in charge of the Chamber of Commerce. Wang Xian, who was standing at the side, listened to their words coldly. Take out all the spirit stones and resources in your hands. I will bring all of you back to Donghai City. He spoke to all the chambers of commerce and the mercenary group indifferently. As soon as Wang Xian finished his words, everyone stopped shouting and looked at him one by one. Green Vine Chamber of Commerce and Shao Chamber of Commerce, leave behind all the valuable items and leave on your own. Wang Xian added indifferently, All right, I'll pay. My life is more important. We can earn more if we run out of spirit stones. A middle-aged man gritted his teeth and said in a low voice, Captain Wang, as long as you can bring us to Donghai City, we'll give you all our money. I'll give it to you too. The people in charge of the Chamber of Commerce agreed with an embarrassed expression. They had been forced into a desperate situation. Their lives were more important than money. Come here. A few people from the mercenary group looked at each other. They instantly walked to Supervisor Du and Elder Zhao's side and directly grabbed them. Come, find all the valuable things on their bodies and send them to Commander Wang. What are you doing? I'm warning you. Our Ivy and Shao Chambers of Commerce will not let you off. Shut up. A few mercenary groups tore their clothes and took their interspatial rings and all the valuable items. Commander Wang, all the goods of the caravan are yours. Please take us back to East Sea City. A few people in charge of the mercenary group and the Chamber of Commerce walked over and said with an awkward expression, all right. Wang Xian smiled expressionlessly and looked at Father Zhou. I'll have to trouble President Zhou to come to Donghai City and help me sell all the goods. Also, if you guys want to seek revenge, you can look for me at the Demon Hunters Academy. My name is Wang Xian. Wang Xian stood up and said to everyone with an unpleasant expression, No, no, no. Everyone said hurriedly. They really didn't dare to, after learning that the 13 people were the higher-ups of the Demon Hunters Academy. They knew that this young man in front of them was definitely not someone they could provoke. To dare to be enemies with the Demon Hunters Academy was simply courting death. Wang Xian didn't bother with them. He was about to enter Donghai City anyway. The Dragon Assassin Organization was also about to enter Donghai City. It wouldn't be long before the Dragon Assassin Organization stirred up another storm of blood. Chapter 964, Donghai City. Get lost. Get out of our sight immediately and don't appear in our sight. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude. Wang Xian and the people from the Zhou Chamber of Commerce were walking at the front, while everyone from the caravan followed behind. A few people from the mercenary group spoke to Supervisor Du and Elder Xiao, who had ashen faces. The people from the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce and the Xiao Chamber of Commerce had despair written all over their faces. All their resources had been taken away, and now they were chased out of the caravan. How were they supposed to go back? This was no different from sending themselves to their deaths. Get lost. A member of the mercenary group pushed Elder Xiao hard and pushed him to the ground. Their mercenary group had suffered heavy losses on this trip. However, all of the reasons were because of the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce and the Xiao Chamber of Commerce. If it weren't for them, this mission would have been smooth. There wouldn't have been so many deaths, and they wouldn't have to be on tenterhooks every day. They would have been able to smoothly obtain a decent reward. Then they would have to take out a sum of spirit stones when they arrived at the Eastern Sea with the Immortal Phoenix mercenary group. Therefore, when they learned of what the Green Vine Chamber of Commerce and the Xiao Chamber of Commerce had done, everyone's faces were filled with anger. You will die a horrible death. Elder Xiao fell on the rock, his eyes bloodshot as he growled. However, what responded to them was a cold gaze. Seeing the caravan quickly disappear from their sight, Supervisor Du and Elder Xiao sat on the rock with despair on their faces, their eyes lifeless. Without protection, with their extraordinary second or third rank strength, their chances of survival were less than 10%. Commander Wang, all the goods in the caravan are worth about 13 million middle-grade spirit stones. This is their receipt. Take a look. When we arrive at Donghai City, I will sell all the goods to you, Commander Wang. Father Zhou counted all the goods and came to Wang Xian with a smile. He said respectfully, "Okay." Wang Xian nodded his head and smiled. Although the commission for this mission was only 50,000 spirit stones, the reward was not low. Excluding the one-time extraordinary 8th level formation, the reward was 17 to 8 million middle-grade spirit stones. It was not bad. The caravan traveled at a fast speed, with Ao Yao and the rest on guard, as long as they did not encounter any powerful demonic beasts of the insightful void tier. There was not much danger. After 2 days of turbulence, Wang Xian and the rest finally arrived in front of a huge city. The city wall was 100 meters tall, and the huge black city gate was 70 to 80 meters tall. Rows of elite soldiers stood neatly on the city wall. The huge city was incomparably majestic and exuded an ancient aura. Compared to it, the Holy See town was on a completely different level. East Sea City had a population of over 10 million, and it was close to the ocean. The entire city had existed for over 3,000 years. East Sea City was one of Star Moon Kingdom's 10 great cities. Star Moon Kingdom had 10 great cities and 80 towns. East Sea City was one of them. It had the army of ocean cultivators of the East Sea, which guarded a region. The city lord and the commander of the army of ocean cultivators were both terrifying experts at the profound void realm. In Eastern Sea City, there were 3 major academies: Eastern Sea Academy, Ocean Academy, and Demon Hunter Academy. Compared to the first 2 academies, Demon Hunter Academy could be considered a civilian academy. This was because as long as one had the strength and ability, they wouldn't allow their sons and daughters to join the Demon Hunter Academy. The greatest future for the students of the Demon Hunter Academy was to stay in the Demon Hunter Academy and become instructors. The rest would usually join a mercenary group. If it was better, they would form a mercenary group. However, the members of the mercenary group lived on the edge of a knife and could die in the wild at any time. As the saying went, if you often walk by the river, you'll get your shoes wet. If you often do missions in the wild, who can guarantee that you will not encounter difficulties? Therefore, no parents were willing to let their children go to the Demon Hunter College. Moreover, the students of the Demon Hunters Academy had to go out on missions during their time in the academy. Every assessment required them to go out into the wild to complete the corresponding missions. The probability of death in the academy was very high. It could be seen from the assessment. This was also the origin of the name of the academy for commoners. To enter Donghai City, everyone had to pay a middle-grade spirit stone. This was a hard and fast rule. Wang Xian and the rest entered the city from the entrance that was at least 200 meters wide. They passed through the tunnel that was 20 to 30 meters thick. A huge and prosperous city appeared in Wang Xian's line of sight. The wide street was about 30 to 40 meters wide. The street was divided into human-shaped and horse-drawn carriages. Move, move, move! At this moment, a roar came from behind. Wang Xian turned around and saw more than a dozen members of the mercenary group riding on giant rhinoceroses. They were walking on the road of the carriage. The 3-meter rhinoceroses were emitting a powerful aura. These rhinoceroses had at least the strength of an extraordinary level 3. This made Wang Xian's eyes sparkle. It's up to Brother Bei Bing to hunt the red-tailed fish this time. Don't worry, leave it to me. As long as you do as I say, I guarantee that we will return with a full load. More than 20 people walked out of the city, excitedly. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with astonishment. The one who was called the Bei Bing brothers was not a human. Instead, it was a demonic beast that carried a shell on its back and had 2 antennae. That's right, it was a demonic beast. It cooperated with humans to hunt and kill the ferocious beasts. Along the way, Wang Xian also learned a little about Donghai Town from Jin Luyan and Zhou Han. This was a huge city. There were not only fierce beasts, but also demonic beasts living in it. Demonic beasts possessed intelligence. Not all demonic beasts were enemies with humans. Many demonic beasts joined forces with humans. After demonic beasts registered in a human city, they enjoyed the same treatment as humans. They also had to abide by the rules of humans. And because demonic beasts had their own talents and were generally stronger than humans, many mercenary groups also hoped to recruit a demonic beast member. This resulted in a situation where the demonic beasts and humans coexisted. In fact, there was even a small demonic beast race living in Donghai City. The humans provided them with safe accommodation and resources while they guarded Donghai City for the humans to solve some special problems. Commander Wang, I'll sell all the resources first. I'll let Han Han and Miss Jean bring you around Donghai City. Father Zhou said to Wang Xian with a smile. As for everyone in the caravan, they left as soon as they entered the city. It's all right. I'll look around by myself. Wang Xian shook his head. It's all right, Commander Wang. We don't have much to do. Donghai City is very big. Do you know where the Demon Hunter Academy is? Where is the Demon Hunter recruitment? Let us accompany you to get to know each other. Thank you for bringing us here safely. Jin Lian said to Wang Xian with a smile on her face. Wang Xian hesitated for a moment and nodded. All right then, thank you. You're welcome. We still want to get to know a powerhouse with unlimited potential like you so that we can protect our little girl in the future. Jin Lian's face was full of smiles.